Nyadloyarta. Nikorn and Yadloyarta, Bukiana Medawandina, Targetina, Nadijikura, Warrior Malawer, Targetinai. This is my bloodline country. I come from the Malawer Mina of the Dry Forest clan of the Ghana people of this nation, and we greet you to the spirit of this place, Tandanyanga, the dreaming place of the red kangaroo. My name is Jikura. Kua is my totem, the crow, flying silently across sky country. We fly as one. I'd like to acknowledge the 4 directions if you have all come from to be here today, in particular my First Nations brothers and sisters in the song, dance and ceremony that you have carried from your nation to mine. I'd also like to acknowledge Sir Doug Nicholls and the 10-year anniversary, and also the designers of this year's Kuana, Guernsey, Graham and Annie Christine. Nakara.
Greetings, friends. This is ancient country here. This is a very special day, a special round. It's actually the 10th time that we're celebrating this great man. He was a leader here. He was the governor, the first governor in the whole of Australia here in this state. So when we talk about flying as one, let us all be as one. So this is today. This is about the leadership of us all in this country we call home. All of us here, whether we're the Eagles or the Crows, we can still fly high together. Ma, yongo yere ke main mak yo. Terap. Ya, ma.
Thank you to Yalaka for the amazing greeting to Spirit of Place. Put your hands together for Yalaka.
It's Kuana against Wallich Marawa this afternoon. The Crows and the Eagles live on ABC Sport as part of Sir Doug Nicholls' Indigenous Round. Take 2 in the ABC Sport box. Nice to welcome in Mark Soderstrom. Haven't seen you in about a month, Soda. How you doing?
Yeah, very well, Aaron. Excited to see how this goes. Taylor Walker, you said, is a late out. Was he a late out, though? Because there was speculation all throughout the week that he wasn't going to front. Obviously, he's got to play every game to get to the end of the year now, to get to that magic 300. But it's going to be interesting. As you mentioned, the Eagles, well, after 9 losses, they finally got that win against the Saints. It was 28 points, not overly convincing, but they got it done. So at least they'll be feeling okay.
You touched on the narrative around Taylor Walker. The feeling was during the week there's a storm coming in Adelaide, which is supposed to now hit this afternoon/evening across to Monday. So the thought was, oh, look, if it's going to rain, don't play him anyway. The Crows kind of played smoke and mirrors around the situation. By the time we got to today, the sun is out. It's 19 degrees. It is very windy, though. We should be able to get through this game unimpeded by any wet weather, but the Crows have pulled the trigger anyway, and Taylor Walker is the laid out due to management reasons, and Sid Draper comes in. A couple of star experts in the box as well to analyse the contest for you. Firstly, it's great to welcome in Premiership Crow Rod Jamieson. Good to see you, Jamo.
Hello, Corby. Hello, Soda.
I was waiting for that.
Hello, Az. It is always good to be here. Early start, good way to kick off a Sunday.
Alongside Rod Jamieson, we've got the now 4-time Showdown medalist, Josh Franco. Afternoon, Josh.
Afternoon, gentlemen. Yeah, looking forward to this contest. I must admit, I'm really bullish about the Crows. I think they are the real deal. Their only Achilles heel, in my opinion, at the moment is their midfield, but I think they're going to be too strong for the West Coast Eagles today. And one of the statistics from the Eagles' perspective over the last 3 weeks, they're second in pressure rating. If they bring that same intent this week, they give themselves a chance.
Especially when you look how Collingwood unravelled the Crows last week. It was points from turnover. So Eagles bring the pressure, Adelaide cop up the footy, and there's a chance for them, Gemma.
Yeah, look, I appreciate West Coast win last week against Saints, one of the better defensive teams in the competition, but it was probably more a spirited win off the back of the passing of Adam Selwood too, and what that meant to the football club. So I don't know whether they've got the defence. You can open them up pretty quickly too, and they'll try hard, but Harley Reid, Liam Baker, Tim Kelly, Liam Ryan will go in the middle and go forward. Jamie Cripps is out. They're the 5 major players within this team. If you can contain or negate some of their impact, I think you'll be able to win the game pretty easy.
It is frustrating for Eagles fans when they finally got their first win of the season, and then they lose Jamie Cripps and Matty Yowies, a couple of really star small forwards for them. It brings Tyrell Dewey in as the sub, and Noah Long as well will be part of the starting 22. Meanwhile, for the Crows, Pedler and Draper in for Walker and Nankervis, who was omitted. Just seeing the gift exchange out in the middle as part of Sir Doug Nicholls' Indigenous round. So Guana, the Crows, handing over a red gum shield crafted by Patrick Ferguson, has symbolic carvings of clan identities and dreaming stories and connection to country. Wailich Marawa had a kangaroo skin football created by Dion and Kelsey Harris, who are from Mooney Mire. So that's the handmade Malu skin football as they come together in the middle as part of the gift exchange. Had the coin toss as well, so do you were all over it. Where are we headed this afternoon?
Well, we've got a bit of breeze heading to the right there, of course, which is the southern end or the river end, and then obviously the northern end there looks like, I reckon, probably a couple of goals, the breeze down there. We've got Liz Walsh who's down there joining us, and Liz knows obviously how we're travelling there. I reckon the breeze, do you reckon a couple of goals, Josh?
I reckon it is, yeah. Looking at those flags there, they are almost standing on their head, aren't they, at the moment? So the breeze is quite strong. It does swirl a little bit here at Adelaide Oval, as it does in most stadiums throughout Australia, but yeah, definitely 2 or 3 goals in that breeze.
Should give a bit of a sympathetic welcome to Liz Walsh this afternoon. We're having some technical difficulties, so she won't be able to join us during the call. She'll be down in the rooms though, and we'll get an interview post-game. So she's braving the windy conditions and will be touching base with us across the afternoon in terms of any injuries that happen.
Put your feet up, Liz.
She is enjoying herself in the front row this afternoon on what is a very picturesque day in Adelaide. So the Crows will be kicking to the right-hand side of your radio dial, the southern end, that is with the breeze, unless it does end up swirling as it can do at the Adelaide Oval. The Eagles heading to the northern hill end. Tips, Jamo, Josh?
Look, I think it'll be Adelaide by plenty.
Yeah. Start. It is Guana and Wailich Marawa, the Crows and the Eagles. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. You can get in touch with us as well on the text line 0437 774 774. To get us underway, here's Mark Soderstrom.
Riley O'Brien up against Matt Flynn, and Flynn was pretty good last week. He had to go up against Rowan Marshall, so he'd be coming in feeling nice and ready to take this side on, and the tackle straight away from Liam Ryan. So we're seeing him starting in the centre of the ground. Adelaide comes out to Rankin, just gets away from a tackle, little handball over the top to Saligo, but the umpire has pulled out a free kick, and it's going to go the way of the Eagles, just to Baker to get things going.
Spots Brockman on the broadcast wing. All alone, has a time to run forward and share it with his teammate alongside him. Brock's floated up towards the wing, squeezes the kick on the 45 to Hunt. Too far out to score at left half forward, so he's swinging into the pocket. On the charge was Oscar Allen, but he's caught behind Keane, who read it best. Intercept mark early for the Crows. He'll share it across defensive 50. Miller, fresh off his contract extension, to Laird. Now Saligo heads to the eastern side. Keys will mark it left half back.
Just that kick into the breeze, wasn't it, too, that hurt, and also we'll give him that the benefit of the doubt as opposed to a poor disposal.
Benny Keys, 117th straight for the Crows, up to half forward. Jinby did well in defence for the Eagles, and they just hold things up, and looks like it's just gone out over the line, or the umpire, as yet, he was working out whether he was going to bounce it or it had crossed the line, so they'll throw it in at half forward for Adelaide, out of side.
And so it looks like Dawson starting forward for the Crows. Berry started inside at the centre bounce.
No Taylor Walker this afternoon either. Had a rich reign of form against the Eagles, 21 goals in 3 games. Tossed in, off hands, there's a whistle from the non-controlling umpire. Free kick to West Coast. He's caught high as Elijah Hewitt. Game 23 this afternoon. One of 11 players out there who are yet to hit the 50 mark. Elijah Hewitt up to right half forward. Spots Flynn, easily outmatched against O'Brien. Didn't even make a contest of it. An intercept mark taken by the big man for the Crows. No score so far. Down the eastern wing goes O'Brien. Dawson marks in front of Hewitt, wheels and goes. No pressure either. Has a trot in front of the Williams stand. An outnumber in the 50. Target still thought nearly clubbed it against 2. Whistle very late. Will go his way.
So the umpire from the middle didn't need one controlling, let it go, but Geez, Dawson's so good, isn't he, in the air, and then just to swing around. The amount of games, and when you do your footage as an opposition player, surely they just go, he takes the game on straight away, and he does swing around to his left. Phil Thorpe out the back. 2 West Coast players just interfered, and good start from Adelaide.
Marriage with a chop, the chop of the arms. Free kick to Riley Thilthorpe. Starts his approach, 40 out, slight angle to the left, and puts it through. Adelaide strikes first in the opening 3 minutes. Riley Thilthorpe's on the board. Adelaide 1 straight 6. The Eagles yet to score. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, Premiership Crow Rod Jamieson and All-Australian midfielder Josh Franco.
Well, as you said, Jamo, really good start there from Adelaide. Riley O'Brien has started the game superbly. He had the first centre clearance, quick hands to Isaac Rankin, and looking at some of the numbers coming into this game, the West Coast Eagles like to go forward with their ball movement, so a lot of long down the line, I beg my pardon. And Riley O'Brien's going to have to play a critical role, setting that kick behind the play. He was outstanding on that occasion, and then the rebound and quick, fast ball movement off the back of that turnover. Very, very difficult to stop. And big Riley Thilthorpe, when you've given him space and there's speed on the ball, he's very, very difficult to stop.
Only 3 minutes in, 6 kicks to Adelaide, 100%. That's their big improvement this year.
Yeah, great start by Riley Thilthorpe after being held goalless for the first time in the season last week. Harley Reid would have seen in the highlights last week his great hanger that he took on top of his captain. Here's a chance for Brockman now going forward into 50, and Red Best.
Another poor entry there, Jamo.
Yeah, 2 inside 50s, 2 marks to Adelaide.
Marked by Mark Keane there, of course, who had that great Leo Barry moment in the showdown. Comes out to Berry, still in the defensive 50, members' side of the ground here, Adelaide Oval. Just a picture-perfect day. He goes down the line looking for Thilthorpe. Strong hands too by the big man Mountain.
Far from home, looks inboard. Dawson presents close to the logo. Takes the mark in front of Brockman and casually places it to the defensive edge. Laird marks, the club's all-time leading possession winner, and now butts at centre-half back. Chips it over the top, close to the centre circle. Mark taken by Michael Lanny. Gives it back to Laird, turned into trouble from Kelly. He's coughed it up. Kelly trying to fight now. Out of the tackle from Dawson, did well. Got it to Baker, then Hewitt. Thrusts it forward, little 1-2 with Gross. Brockman, this is a good run here from the Eagles. Brockman spears it inside, and in the corridor floating forward is Hoff. He's been everywhere for the Eagles the past month. Injected into the midfield mix, and now Brady Hoff gets a shot in front of goal, 25 out.
I'll tell you what, Gemma, just highlights you just can't fumble the ball in the modern game, because if you do, and I think it was Berry, was it, on that occasion, he took the bounce, fumbled the ball, caused the turnover, and on the rebound, West Coast were outstanding. And we've seen their first 2 entries inside 50 have gone straight to Adelaide. On that occasion, really good vision and an uncontested mark inside forward 50 for the Eagles.
Brady Hoff, who kicked his first ever career goal last week, leans back on the kick and looks right at home. Beautiful strike, and the Eagles answer back. 1 straight 6 apiece, 5 minutes played, opening terms. Sunday footy on ABC Sport with Rod Jamieson and Josh Franco.
Well, Adelaide will always stretch the ground, and we saw that with the last passage of play where Saligo went out extremely wide and they went around the outer wing, but certainly they'll give you every opportunity through the middle of the ground because that's where they want to go. They want to take it on. Uncharacteristic fumble, West Coast, good return.
And then also too, Jamo, when you have speed on the ball, everyone gets caught offside if they do fumble and turn the footy over, as Adelaide did on that occasion. And as we said, it was just a really simple connect inside 50 for Eagles' first goal.
Still 12 kicks to Adelaide out of 19 disposals. Soda going at 100%.
Rod Jamieson, Premiership Crow. Right onto the stats there. And as we heard from Aaron Bryans, Hoff, his first goal last week in his career took him 62 games, and he's gone back-to-back. Tap down, Rankin in the centre of the ground, going back towards Berry. Big fly over the top. Mark wasn't taken. Coming through is Peatling from 48 metres. He blazes away and just pushes it to the left for a behind. Some nice clear work in the centre of the ground, Isaac Rankin.
It was outstanding, yeah. The O'Brien hit forward to Rankin on the fly. Difficult, almost impossible to defend.
It was pretty funny, actually, because he had... Was it Luke Pedler was in front of Peatling? He's trying to get out of his way. Every way he went, he followed him, so he had to kick around him.
Crows back in front by that solitary point. If you're just joining us, Taylor Walker, the laid out due to management reasons. Playing on from the defensive goal square, Marek chips it to Graham. The dual premiership Tiger has a runner, shares it with Jinby.
Oh.
Dangerous, dinky kick wide to Edwards. Put him under a bit of pressure. Rushes the exit, did well. Long. Outmarks coming. Beautiful kick down the line as well. Gross turns behind centre wing on the eastern side. Looks inboard to Kelly. Under pressure, did well against Berry. Pops up. Short kick. Here's Baker. Just in front of the Bashir stand.
Looks a little unorthodox, but they're trying to maintain possession, aren't they, whilst go forward.
Kick forward, just short of the attacking 50. Stretch out there, trying to take the mark with Hewitt. Couldn't do it. Adelaide rebounds nicely. Fogarty, little 1-2 from Berry. His kick out into space. Thilthorpe, but it just goes past him, close to the line, and we're content to see it out. So we are just about 60 out from the Adelaide goal, out of side.
And even that ball movement out of their D50 from the Eagles, I thought it was terrific until it got to Baker. Their ability to change lanes and keep speed on the ball, but then he just held it up and hit that sort of inside 45 to the top of the 50, which is danger zone if you turn it over.
Four-time showdown medalist Josh Franco. Little tap, comes back. Oh, great work by Rankin. Spins and then goes with a kick on the outside of the foot. It was dynamic again. Just kicked it out of bounds on the full, but looking dangerous. Two really nice clearances in a row for Rankin.
It'd just be a nightmare to stand, particularly when you've got in good service. And if he's on the move, you need some support off your teammates and help at the stoppage. And at the moment, you're not getting it. And Rankin is looking very, very dangerous.
Building up to something special. Jinby looks for an exit. The kick's too hot. Hard and long over the top of Brockman. Miller cuts it off. Back into the 50 for the Crows. And Peatling presents. Back with the flight. Comfortable on the chest. Straight in front, James Peatling will have a shot, 30 out.
And that's the difference too, is that West Coast are trying to do it. You see that they're looking to kick, mark, and uncontested, but just the certainty in which Adelaide, once they get it, they go hard, go quick, and find a target.
Former Giant James Peatling settled in incredibly quickly at the Crows. Peatling crosses the paint of 50, kicks close to the man on the mark. It won't impact him. It's an excellent finish. Adelaide's up by 7 in the early stages here at the Adelaide Oval. 2-1-13. Walich Murrowa 1 straight 6. 9 played. Opening terms. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Your experts. Premiership Crow Rod Jamieson. Star power midfielder Josh Franco.
Gemma, that's probably the difference, isn't it, between the top echelon of teams in the competition and the bottom 3 or 4 coming out of their D50. It was Jinby, wasn't it, that just missed the kick and laced out. Just a terrible turnover, laced out Miller, and then you sort of almost the reverse of it. Miller just spotted up Peatling inside their forward 50 and just almost a centimetre perfect to Peatling to kick Adelaide's second goal. But really good play. You can see the intent of the West Coast Eagles. They're trying to move the ball and maintain possession, just lacking execution at the moment.
Terrific start by Adelaide. A couple of goals to get things moving. Again in the centre of the ground. Tap down came towards Rochelle, who spun around. Going forward is the Eagles. Kick from Kelly. Target was Williams, straight over the top of his head and rushed through for a behind by Keane. So the Eagles within a kick, 6 points.
Quick exit from the Crows who head to the broadcast wing. Flynn was battling with Dawson, who lost his footing, and the Eagles ruckman takes the mark. Shares it wide, close to the boundary line. Duggan.
It's been a solid play for him, hasn't he, for a long time?
Starting to lift after a slow start this season. Flares it inside 50. They converge on the drop. Fist came in against Waterman. Hits the deck. Curtin picks it up. Handed it to Keane. Beautiful sidestep around Brockman. Kick back to the broadcast wing looking for Dawson. Couple of bites. Rankin came in. He couldn't control it. Kelly ripped away from the footy. Rankin thrusts one over the top. Handball in hope towards centre wing. Knocked away to Graham. He'll pick it up for Walich Murrowa. The Eagles tumbled kick as he was pushed off the disposal. Rolls about 5 metres. They collapse on top of the footy. Tackle laid by Cole to hold things up on Riley O'Brien. Good one of the Crows. They're up by 6. We played 11 minutes in this opening term on ABC Sport.
O'Brien with the tap down to Saligo. Good tackle by Graham. He's been terrific this year with his tackling. Hunt. Kick goes forward. Mark can't be taken by Williams. Just a little paddle looking for his co-captain in Allen. Doesn't go. Handball back towards Cumming. Under pressure from Williams. Gives it to the skipper. He tries a kick at Allen and it's just saved on the line by Crows defence. Worrell was good. Goes out. And beautiful little kick. Pedler with his mark. First game for the year.
Fast transition here for the Crows. Kick out the back. Gathered cleanly by Neil Bullen. Turns into the pocket. On the charge, kick was a little bit long for Dawson, keeps hunting it, tried to gather, brought down before he got the footy from Hutchinson, no whistle. Cross now set upon by a couple of Crows, and we'll get a ball up. 30 outside angle to the left for Adelaide.
Just one of the stats it's sort of showing at the moment is the hit-outs to advantage with Riley O'Brien. He's had 4 hit-outs and all to advantage.
Look at the kick of Worrell out of the back line.
Gurner in a good spot here. Out of the stoppage, tap back towards Cumming, who retreats out a defensive attacking 50. Rochelle to Saligo, sends it to the goal square. Dawson had one arm battling for position, the other he tried to reel it in. Ball hits the deck, ricochets back to it. Dawson snaps and goes. Top of the goal square, finish for the skipper. Adelaide's up by 2 majors. Gurner 3-1-19, Wallich Murrow 1-1-7. We've now played 13 minutes in the opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Radio, Sport Digital and the ABC Listen app. Aaron Bryans and Mark Soderstrom with you alongside Rod Jamieson and Josh Franco.
I think this is why we're so adamant around what the result might be. Already in the early part of this first quarter, the pressure from Adelaide is relentless, isn't it? The West Coast just won't be able to maintain it. They might be able to go with Adelaide for a little bit, but just 2 different styles. When they enter Adelaide, they look dangerous. They've got the targets. The ball's moving quickly. Up the other end, they're just kicking in long and hoping that someone from West Coast will either take a mark or be in the right spot.
A scary thought for opposition teams. Matty Nix, just before the showdown, said that Jordan Dawson can get better. Well, he's in great form, sitting 4th in the votes for the Coaches Award. And that goal is his 7th for the year. And Williams is in the ruck now for the Eagles, giving Flynn a chop out. Hewitt gives it to Williams in the centre of the ground. The tackle on Cole just when he was about to get it was good. Still a hurried kick going forward to the Eagles to half forward. Laird just tried to give a little handball, and Ryan gets in a tackle there and wraps up Michael Annie.
Gurner by 12. Sun's out ahead of a storm in Adelaide. Both rucks missed it. Gathered on the bounce by Bailey Williams into the 50 for the Eagles. Couple of juggles by Allen. He becomes the tackler on Keane and holds things up 20 out from goal. Eagles pressing here. Pretty quiet crowd compared to what we're used to for the Crows as well. Plenty of space in that northern side. Tossed up, Thilthorpe down, only found Reid. Kick smothered, ricochets towards Cumming. Rushes a kick out of there, bounces towards the boundary line. Question is asked and rewarded. Tom Cole will get the free kick for insufficient intent. The Premiership Eagle in front of the Wanganeen stand. Cole bangs it in towards the goal square. Thilthorpe can rise across the pack all alone and intercepts in front of the behind line. His kick was treacherous, too casual across the face. Picked off, handball across, Reid snaps and goals. A tremendous effort there from Tyler Brockman to cut it off, share it to Harley Reid, and the Eagles answer back again. 1-goal game at the Adelaide Oval. Adelaide's 3-1-19, West Coast 2-1-13. 15 played, Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, Jim, I know we've said it numerous times up here in the ABC commentary box. If you're a ruckman, try not to bite off a 45, particularly when you're caught deep in defence. And on that occasion, it was Thilthorpe, just had a bit of a brain fade. The kick was long down the line. You've got the wind and a 2 to 3 goal breeze behind your back. Just had to get some territory. Didn't. Try to create a bit of play that definitely wasn't on, and the West Coast Eagles were able to capitalise on that. Bit of a brain fade there from Thilthorpe.
Yeah, he just floated the kick too, wasn't it? Just sat up a little.
Yeah.
Rod Jamieson and Josh Franco, your experts today. Harley Reid kicked 2 last week against the Saints, as well as taking that hanger. That is some terrific work. Brockman was outstanding there. And so Thilthorpe back into the centre of the ground after the error, doing the ruck work against Williams. Hewitt tapped down straight to him. Back to Williams again, who's getting himself involved at ground level. He was good last week too when he went forward. The kick, though, has been cut off by Mark Keane.
That's the 9th inside 50 for West Coast, so they're getting it in there, but they're wasteful.
There'll be a quick counter punch as well. Keane moved the ball towards Rochelle. Up the spine he goes looking for Dawson. Bowled over by Jinby. Picked up by the Eagles, and Edwards can send it back where it came from. Straight up the corridor. Allen gives it across to Long. Inside 50. Ryan had a couple of bites at it. Can't hold on. Keeps wrestling for the footy, trying to extract it out. Can't win in the end and becomes the tackler. We'll get a ball up 40 from home.
I mentioned that the hit-outs to advantage from Riley O'Brien have been outstanding, but it's where the Eagles are actually capitalising and getting their inside 50s. At the moment, it's 8-5 clearances and getting field position off the back of that.
Phil Thorpe down. Tap was intercepted by Graham, who's quickly mauled by a couple of Crows.
Just the method of entry, isn't it, at the moment, that's hurting them.
Again, front position, Phil Thorpe down. But Deja Vu as another Eagle picks it off. This time it's Hewitt, and he's wrapped up once again. Still 40 from home. Let's see if Soda can get a breakthrough here.
In the Wallich-Murray attacking 50, ball comes out towards Hewitt, has a little fumble as he tries to pick it up, and Pedler comes in and ensures the ball's knocked away from Hunt, right in front of that Eddie Betts pocket, in front of the grandstand here. 6-point ball game in favour of Adelaide. Ball thrown in. This is Allen and Thilthorpe at it again. Oh, Hewitt, who's been dangerous at the feet of the pack every time, couldn't quite get a handball out effectively. The crowd wanted a free kick, a hurried kick from Adelaide in defence. Punch is good from Fogarty, and we'll see the ball head out. Still out of side here, at half forward for Wallich-Murray.
At the moment, the Eagles. Just looking at some of the numbers, contested ball pretty even. The tackle count, West Coast Eagles +2, clearances +2, inside 50s +4. So they're playing a pretty good brand of footy at the moment. Again, they just need to capitalise on those entries inside 50.
Adelaide jumped out. They've actually worked their way back into it.
Yeah, they have.
Guina by 6, tossed in off the hands of the ruckman. Peatling chases the footy. Graham behind him gave him a shove. Ball rolls over. Originally going to try it again, but I reckon the non-controlling umpires decided to pay it. So free kick to the Crows. Peatling will have it just behind centre wing. Called to play on. He'll launch a long wobbler up towards Thilthorpe. Plenty on it as it carries past the marking contest. Out the back door, Marrick gathered, handed it across, picked off by Neil Bullen. He in turn nearly gave it away. Dawson becomes the tackler. We'll get a ball up on the paint of attacking 50. Guina territory at the moment. And the Crows this afternoon against Wallich-Murray with the Eagles. Out of the stoppage, Berry picked it up, caught in a sandwich holding the ball. Tried to burst through Graham, he wouldn't let go, and Hewitt came with the assist.
It's red hot, isn't it, too? It's good to see Sam Berry actually start the game. He's part the last couple, that's the substitute. Limited run.
Graham with that great tackle just out to Marrick, so they've got the ball on the outer side, just maintaining possession at the moment. Little chip from Cole is okay. He's got Hoff. 27 touches last week. Hoff, he was in great form. High ball going into the attacking 50. Waterman on his own. Takes the mark, 30 out. And he has an opportunity now to square things up. And he's got that Fraser Gehrig looking mullet.
Well, I tell you what, that was terrific ball movement there from the West Coast Eagles. Their ability to change lanes. There was a risky kick in there. And if you do turn the ball over inside that 45, it does come back with interest. But they've got to roll the dice and keep shifting Adelaide Crows' defence to then get that connect inside forward 50. And I reckon it's a superb bit of play, and that's the only way you're going to get through and cut through the Adelaide Crows zone defence.
53 goals last year for Waterman, and he's having another good season here. The kick is a good one for Wallich-Murray. They've squared things up here, and we are 20 minutes gone, just ticked into time on in this first term, 3-1-19 apiece. Josh Franco and also Rod Jamieson, your experts.
Slow to start, but they have worked their way back into it, and Jake Waterman has been the focal point up forward for them. Oscar Allen is the other one in more time, but he just continues to present himself too. And I think Worrell was his immediate opponent, got caught a long way behind on that occasion, almost ran under the football. Big barrel chest and that big flowing mullet.
And Jim, as we said even pre-game, West Coast Eagles, the last 3 games have ranked second in pressure. So that's I guess, in terms of the key component of the game you've got to get right is pressure and contest at the moment. West Coast looking really dangerous. They're getting field position on the back of stoppages, and they're actually looking quite dangerous at the moment.
Scores are level in the opening term between Guina and Wallich-Murray. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. O'Brien down. Saligo puts his head over the footy. Can't break through Flynn. We'll get another ball up. Still inside the centre circle. Still to come. Nam and Sydney and Euroke and Gold Coast. Triple header on ABC Sport. Free kick out of the stoppage. O'Brien held. Quickly wants to go. Riding shotgun. He releases Michael Lanny. Drives the footy. Long over the pack in the 50. Pedler's at the back. It can stroll in. Luxurious on return to the Crows. He gets a gift, waltzing into the Riverbank stand. And Pedler has his first goal of the season. Adelaide's up by 6. 4-1-25. West Coast 3-1-19. Time on in the opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Doesn't have the best goal conversion rate, Pedler, but geez, if he's going to miss it from there, you'd think he should be a right footer rather than a left footer. But just the ability and the ease in which they were able to Riley O'Brien, certainly off to Max Michaelani, too easy from behind the footy.
Well, the other thing as well, I reckon from a Qualters perspective, that would drive him insane. They've dominated field position, dominated the last 10 minutes of this contest, and to give away a stoppage free kick and stoppage goal, and I think you mentioned it, Aaron, it's just a gift to Pedler. That one that would probably get on the nerves, I would imagine, of the West Coast Eagle coaching staff.
Just over the back. It was too easy as a defender.
Quick response from Pedler, who'd kicked 9 goals in his 6 Sandford games before getting his opportunity. Riley O'Brien just off the deck. Free kick is going to go the way of Rochelle, taken high. So Liam Ryan has him inside centre square. Rochelle's got a lead. And it's been honoured, and it's big Riley Thilthorpe, 30 out directly in front, and Adelaide a chance to go bang bang within a minute and get some breathing space here.
Jim, I don't know if Thilthorpe was the actual option on that occasion. I think it was Saligo leading up at the ball as well. It just went over the head of Saligo and landed in Thilthorpe's big mitts.
It's almost like a soccer fake, isn't it, too? You have one or two go at it, and the third one comes through and kicks it.
Well, Big Riley has slapped on around 7 kilos of muscle over summer. He's been in terrific touch. He's already kicked 1 for today and cannons it into the post. Well, that was a costly miss from that close as we're getting later into time on. 24 minutes gone. Adelaide 4-2-26. Wallachmara 3-1-19. 7-point ball game.
See, what if they said you can have one pick of the key forward in the competition? Thilthorpe's my man. He's an unbelievable player.
Good age for it as well.
Yep, he's only going to get better too.
Duggan straight up the middle for the Eagles. Hits the deck as the players converge on the drop. Umpire waits an eternity, trying to see if Tim Kelly can get it out. And he was the one who was being tackled by the Crows, and they've given it to him. I'm not sure what's happened there. Ball was dragged in by a couple of bodies, and they've paid holding the ball to Tim Kelly against Wayne Millerer. So Wallachmara ahead to the eastern side. Be picked off, though, by Rory Laird. Hunt was the target, got in front. Kick a little hot for Wayne Millerer, made it work. 3-year extension during the week. Be with the Crows till 2028. Through centre wing he goes.
Wonder how long Thilthorpe's beard could get if he just let it go.
It's already pretty monstrous. She's Pedler. Into the pocket he goes, looking for Thilthorpe again. Big launch from his opposing number 7 in Jinby. Double fist towards the race, and we'll get a boundary throw in 40 from home.
Josh Rochelle's attack on the football. They had some knockers last year. He went to work over the pre-season, but I love the way he hit the footy, took the contest of 2 West Coast defenders and was rewarded with a free disposal. Good Thilthorpe a point, but that's what Adelaide supporters want to see.
Throw in 40 out from Adelaide goal. Goes over the back. Little kick from Peatling going forward. Sandy Brock picked it up for the Eagles in defence. Shoots out a little handball, and that is good work. Tackling there by Neil Bullen, able to hold things up. Baker couldn't get away with it, so the ball will be thrown in. 60 out from the Crows' goal. Outer side here, Adelaide Oval. They're kicking to the right of your dial. The river end here. Flynn and O'Brien back in the ruck together. Quick kick comes forward. Pedler knocks it forward. Skipper going through in, and Dawson couldn't take it, and the ball is held up. 40 out from goal again from that Adelaide forward line.
Crows by 7. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Tossed up. O'Brien races to the drop in front of Flynn. Tapped it straight to an Eagle, though. And Hoff's wrapped up by a couple. We'll go again.
Been going nearly 27 minutes. There's still 4.5 minutes to go in this first quarter.
O'Brien down, sharked by Tim Kelly. Missed the handball, though. Duggan now set upon. Brought to ground by Keys. Another ball up to come, but we've moved slightly more central. Straight in front of Gwynn's goal. They're 35 out. Tossed up. Flynn down this time. Bounced towards Harley Reid. Couldn't pick it off. Duggan comes in on the bounce. Clean gather. Jams the kick up towards Williams. Shrugged off Keane, but his kick ricochets off his teammate. Back towards Hinge. Adelaide inside 50. Thilthorpe again targeted. Edwards got in front with the fist. Tumbles down. Picked up by Cole, tackle, dropped it. Crows are begging for a free. The Eagles will race away in the meantime. Baker with a 1-2 with Edwards. Looks to the broadcast wing. Awkward bounce. Tracked by Gross. Couldn't get there.
Well,
Crowd wanted a free kick and it'll be a boundary throw in instead.
Tell you what, West Coast did well there, Jamo. They were under immense pressure and they're deep in their D50. Adelaide's forward pressure was outstanding and Baker ended up with the footy and just exited the ball, went out of bounds, but great pressure there from the Crows.
Yeah, combined well with Edwards. Really nice hands from the big defender back to Baker. Tap down, quick from Graham. Kicks into the centre of the ground. Hinge did really well. He got a tap through. Comes out to Laird. Back to Hinge, back to Keane, and a little kick to Miller. Here's Worrell from half back. Looks out to the outer side, and his kick wasn't a good one. He was looking for his skipper. He's quick enough to get back on it. Taken down. Oh, he goes for a fresh air kick. Baker did really well there. Duggan handballs out to Cole, and the Eagles are out on the outer side here of Adelaide Oval.
That'll be a jug on the golf course.
Cole takes his time and then kicks around Neil Bullen. Up to right half forward. Waterman had 2 to beat and couldn't win out. Butts takes the intercept mark. Looks for the switch now. Berry in defensive 50. Finally released after playing as the sub the last month. Heads to right half back. Worrell chips it to Rankin. Spears the kick inboard to Fogarty, forward of centre wing. Wheels, low darts it into the 50 on the bounce. Jimby cut across Thilthorpe. He clutched his sore finger. Keeps fighting for it. Jimby's kick smothered. Ricochets to Rankin. Right half forward for the Crows. Tackled by Hewitt, who just kept fighting. Took 2 tackles against Curtin as well. Still popped out to Saligo. Inside 50. Slipped through the midst of Fogarty. Tracking it at the back. Rochelle leaves it for Dawson. Overhead handball. Tried to be fancy. Back to Rochelle and missed him. Allen now lowers the eyes. Kick was a little long for Kelly, but Harley Reid tracks it at the back and takes the mark. Crows by 7. Reid now shares it close to the broadcast wing to Hutchinson.
29 gone in this first term. Kick forward to the Eagles. A big fly there came from Williams. Couldn't take the mark. Coming through Jack Graham. He's got it. Just crosses the 50. Little kick. And it falls onto the chest of Lee and Ryan. Somewhat, well, fortuitously. And he's going to have a shot 45 out, about 30 metres, 45-degree angle, I should say.
Well, Jamo, once again, I'm not sure that kick from Graham was meant to get to Ryan. It had an option that was streaming towards goal ahead of the play, but luck's a fortune.
Now, I'm a big fan of Jack Graham and the way he plays his footy. Coming over to West Coast from Richmond, but he's had a couple of left footers in the early part of this first quarter and they haven't gone too far.
That little wobbler fell on the chest of Ryan, who kicked 2 late goals against the Saints last week. And, well, this one would be something that he'd normally have no trouble with, and he's just put it across the front of the goalpost. So behind for the Eagles, 3-2-20, 6 points behind Adelaide, 4-2-26, 30 gone in this first term, Adelaide Oval.
Out to the eastern side, Thilthorpe presented, couldn't take the mark, slipped through both mitts. At the back, Hunt inside 50 for the Eagles, and marching out of the defensive goal square, Laird accelerated away from Williams to take the intercept mark.
He's been incredible since going back. He was midfield for a number of years and then has gone back in defence this year.
All Australian defender, so right back at home. Shared it with Keane and now Miller. Player on the mark, Bailey Williams, didn't realise he was told to stand. Raced away and now Miller receives a 50-metre free kick. Up to the centre circle. Has a runner. Releases Rankin. It's a long ball in the Dawson direction. Flew too early. Awkward bounce for Edwards. Left forward pocket for the Crows. Picked up by Cole. Threw it on the boot out of there. Waterman on the charge. Drops down low, diving forward with the Superman mark. Has it in front of the Williams stand for the Eagles. Down 6. Closing in on quarter time on ABC Sport.
That was a terrific mark. Under all sorts of pressure. Really important as well that he did take possession of that ball.
Waterman, outer side, goes up the line. Oh, the big fly was from Berry. Couldn't take it. He got a little sit on Jack Graham's head. Comes down, hurried. Kick forward from Hoff, up to half forward. Little tap from Reid. Handball over the top. The siren beats him as Wallach Murrow are going forward. And here at quarter time, it is Adelaide by 6 points, 4-2-26. Eagles 3-2-20.
Goal scorers all individual. For the Crows, Thilthorpe, Pedlar, Dawson and Peatling. And for the Eagles, Waterman, Reid and Hoff. Close game as the Eagles look for back-to-back victories after starting 0-9 in 2025, and the Crows looking to rebound after a loss to Collingwood at home. It's a big game to kickstart your Sunday. We've still got the Demons and the Swans to come at the MCG, and the Saints and Gold Coast to wrap it up at Docklands. But for now, Goona leads Wallich Murrowa by 6 points on ABC Radio, Sport Digital and the ABC Listen app. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
The footy might stop with the final siren, but with ABC AFL, the conversation keeps rolling. Get ABC AFL Daily Podcast with Premiership coach Paul Roos alongside Corbin Middlemass, Ben Cameron and Poppy Penny.
From walking on thin ice to dancing on the mountaintop.
It's your daily footy conversation. Find it on the ABC Listen app. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Dawson marks in front of Hewitt, wheels and goes. No pressure either. Has a trot in front of the Williams stand. An outnumber in the 50. Target still thought nearly clubbed it against 2. Whistle very late. Will go his way. Slight angle to the left. And puts it through. Adelaide strikes first. Brockman, this is a good run here from the Eagles. Brockman spears it inside, and in the corridor floating forward is Hoff. Leans back on the kick and looks right at home. Beautiful strike, and the Eagles answer back. Hard and long over the top of Brockman. Miller cuts it off, back into the 50 for the Crows, and Peatling presents. Peatling crosses the paint of 50, kicks close to the man on the mark. It won't impact him. It's an excellent finish. Battling for position. The other, he tried to reel it in. Ball hits the deck. Ricochets back to it. Dawson snaps and goals. Top of the goal square finish for the skipper. And intercepts in front of the behind line. His kick was treacherous. Too casual across the face. Picked off. Handball across. Reid snaps and goals. A tremendous effort there from Tyler Brockman to cut it off, share it to Harley Reid.
High ball going in the attacking 50. Waterman on his own. Takes the mark, 30 out. 53 goals last year for Waterman, and he's having another good season here. The kick is a good one.
Long over the pack in the 50. Pedler's at the back. It can stroll in. Luxurious on return to the Crows. He gets a gift.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Have the Eagles turned a corner? Last week, their first victory of the campaign after 9 consecutive losses, and now at a venue they haven't won at since 2021. They've been incredibly competitive against a finals-bound Adelaide. Wallich Murrowa down just 6 points at the first change. Goona lead 4-2-26 to 3-2-20. Great way to start your Sunday trifecta of footy. We've got the Demons and the Swans to come next. That's Nam and Sydney from the MCG, and then the Saints and the Suns at Docklands, Europe and Gold Coast to wrap up round 11. Aaron Bryans and Mark Soderstrom with you alongside Rod Jamieson and Josh Franco. The text line, if you do want to get in touch today, 0437 774 774. Big shout out to Matt and Rick, who are cheering on the Eagles on the drive home from Perth to Denmark. That's a good majority of your day, that trip. And it's WA South Coast for those who don't know where Denmark is, which, if we're indulging in the Sir Doug Nicholls Indigenous round sentiments, Jamo, there's a couple of Wanji players out there, and that is their region. So Tyrell Dewar, who is the sub this afternoon for the Eagles, and also Tim Kelly, who's found plenty of the footy early. So we'll get across some of the different nations that the players belong to this afternoon. But I hope you're enjoying the trip, Matt and Rick. It is a beautiful drive down towards Denmark on the south coast of WA. 0437 774 774 is that text line if you do want to get in touch with us. And then, the D's and the Swans to come next on ABC Sport. Jamo, Josh, what'd you make of that opening term?
Well, I thought Adelaide were just going to get out of the blocks and go and steam ahead and kick more than what they did, was ultimately 4 goals. But West Coast put it to them partway through the quarter. Game, we spoke a lot about how West Coast are trying to play the game but just can't nail it at the moment. But all efforts and all metrics look pretty aligned at the moment too. The pressure, I feel, which will put West Coast under most. The inside 50s are 15-13 in that first quarter, but it's 8 tackles to 3 in their forward 50. I think the pressure from Adelaide on the defence of West Coast will be telling in time.
Agreed.
But at the moment, it wasn't a bad start by West Coast.
Absolutely, Jam. I think it's been a really entertaining first quarter here at Adelaide Oval, and we talked about West Coast Eagles the last 3 weeks. Their pressure rating has been ranked second in the competition, and if you talk about building a foundation and building your game sort of from inside to out, that's a really key metric in terms of how they've been performing, and we've seen that today. Their tackles, their contested ball, their ground ball look pretty good in comparison to Adelaide. They've dominated field position for probably about 15 minutes of that first quarter off the back of some really good stoppage work. Adelaide haven't been really able to capitalise on getting first look at the ball, but what I will say from West Coast Eagles' point of view, I reckon they've got to avoid going long down the line because they do look vulnerable when they do that. They've got to keep looking to either switch the ball, make the ground big and look to change lanes and change angles with the kick and maintain possession of the ball. But you just sense that if Adelaide, which they have at times throughout that first quarter, if they're able to turn the ball over and get speed on it, with the firepower they have ahead of the ball, they're going to be pretty difficult to stop. But as I said, it's been an entertaining first quarter. West Coast have to maintain the rage, maintain the pressure, and you never know what can happen.
33-19 marks in favour of Adelaide, but I think to your point, Josh, and you were the master at this, the clearance work, Hewitt, Graham, Duggan, they're the ones that are winning it in the middle and around the ground for West Coast. First possession, Hewitt, Reid, Graham, Duggan. So 3 on 4 West Coast Eagles players are getting their hands on the footy first. The hit-outs are won by Adelaide.
Well, I think the other thing as well, we've seen in terms of numbers, West Coast are going inside their forward 50. I reckon there's probably been 3 or 4 intercept marks from Adelaide, so their method going inside 50 for the Eagles, they need to sharpen that up a little bit to get more bang for buck.
Goona by 6 to start the second term Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Once again, this new look midfield getting a crack. It's Reid, Ryan and Hoff for the Eagles right now. O'Brien wins it down up against Rankin, Peatling and Dawson, and Isaac's got the footy and barges off Hunt with the don't argue and then swings back, retreating with the kick to Laird. Has it at right half back. Adelaide kicking to the left-hand side of your radio dial this term. That 1-goal lead at the moment. Laird down the eastern side. Throw a blanket over the drop. O'Brien with the volleyball tap overhead. Tried to spot someone on the run. Baker was waiting. Hands it off to Marek. Back where it came from with the kick. And back into the hands of the man who sent it. Rory Laird, true centre wing.
Laird, little kick, finds Rankin. He's in trouble with 3 Eagles around him. The kick didn't go far enough. Distributes it back to Laird. And then he gives it to Keane. So he's at half back. Point of the square. Comes straight across the member's side of the ground. And he's just invited Gross into the contest. He hacks a little kick forward. Hinge did okay in defence, able to pick it up and then lowers the eyes. Defensive work from the Eagles was good there in the contest. Little give came from Baker, gives it to Hewitt, and his kick is just to the right of the goalpost. Good build up by the Eagles to get things started here in this second term. Draw first blood on the scoreboard, 3-3-21. Adelaide 4-2-26, a minute gone.
That kick across goal from Keane, that's a lot to be desired, didn't it? But then again, I think the kick from Gross, once he received the turnover, you just had to give it a bit of height to give his forwards a chance to impact.
King so good in the first quarter, 8 disposals, 4 marks.
The Irishman with the defensive exit as he kicks from the goal square to a 1-on-1 at left half back and it hits the deck. Quick tackle laid by Hutchinson. We'll get a ball up.
Gee, Jimby on Isaac Rankin behind the footy's not the ideal matchup.
No.
Flynn down. Ryan chasing 2 to beat. Saligo paddles it towards Peatling. Becomes the tackler. And will go again at right half forward for the Crows. That was the big talking point out west during the week, was how the Eagles' defence was going to navigate the 3-headed beast of Adelaide, and now Taylor Walker relayed out management reasons, so that's helped them tackle that a little bit. Tossed up, Hoff wraps up Dawson, ball pops out. Peatling shovels a handball across the deck to O'Brien. Had Saligo full burst and hit him. Handball missed its target though. Picked up by Rankin. It's a clean take. Dancing and dodging and running out of room. Tumbles a worm burner that bounces perfectly for Rochelle. Swings the kick over the top of a 1-on-1. Yep. Keys and Marek. And a whistle going the way of the Crows. They'll take the advantage out the back door. And it's piled into the hill by Keys. He salutes the front row, and Adelaide get a quick major to start the second term. Leads up to 11. Goona 5-2-32, while it's Marawa 3-3-21. Sunday footy on ABC Sport with Rod Jamieson and Josh Franco.
Well, there's a couple of bits to play there, Jammer. You talked about Jimby v Rankin. It's a matchup I'm sure the West Coast Eagle coaching staff would be a little bit nervous about. Jimby decided to come forward and press forward, which left Rankin by himself, and at the moment he's having a real impact in this contest. But the real telling factor was going inside forward 50 with speed on the ball to a 1-on-1, drew the free kick, but the advantage was paid. Just looking at the replay there, yeah, 2 hands in the back of Keys. The free kick every day of the week, but yeah, once again, when there's speed on the ball, you get the one-on-one contests inside your forward 50. You do draw free kicks from an opposition perspective.
Benny Keys loves a goal. That's 17 for the year, and he would have got that from the free kick, but certainly Phil Thorpe helped him out as Ruck comes down, and then a little kick from Dawson, couldn't get out. Handball as it just bumps around the Kelly, did okay. Kick forward comes from Flynn, the ruckman. Oh, that is good work. That's a great take, well read there by Michael Annie. Did a terrific job playing on Harley Reid. Spent some time on Elliott last week, so they give him some very big jobs.
Kick was poor, wide and low, picked off by Kelly. Umpire calls play on. Kelly quickly rushes it back in, beats everybody, tumbling towards the behind line, cutting across. Gross was battling for it and just couldn't beat Worrell in the end. Through for a minor score. And the Adelaide Crows lead down to just 10. Walich Murrow ahead to the broadcast wing. Over the top of Brock and Fogarty, tumbling towards the logo. O'Brien out to meet it. 2 big bulls as he collides with Jinby. Will get a ball up.
And there, just once again, that entry inside forward 50 from Ryan, just not what they wanted. Kicked it to almost a 3v2 in favour of Adelaide.
O'Brien tried to take it out of the ruck. Brockman goes off the deck, and it's nice to Ryan.
Needs to think his way through here. Sorry, Soda.
At half forward, he's kicked. Well, it's a bit of a scrubber. Picked up by Butts to Worrell. He's got some support in Saligo in defence. He comes out of that defensive 50 and he's found Riley O'Brien in front of the interchange gates. Good little kick from O'Brien. Peatling marks. Goes to Rochelle. Good kick. Phil Thorpe has it on the paint. Oh, his little kick, and just falling at the crucial time was Rankin. And Jinby takes the defensive mark, 20 out from the Adelaide goal.
Aaron, I take back what I said about Ruckman. Riley O'Brien's 45 kick was unbelievable. Keep doing it.
Oh, I think it's only an asterisk, Josh.
Yeah, it's an outlier.
Yeah.
Marek didn't really cash in on the turnover there. Played on and tried to share it to Hunt. It was a tight kick to the boundary line and off hands. So we tossed in right half forward for Guina. They're currently up by 10.
Just that entry. It actually could have gone another 10 metres to the right. You would have had Keys all on his own.
Tossed in, beats both rucks. Kelly out the back. Shoots a handball wide to Marek. Looked left and right and finally just kicks for territory. Bouncing on the broadcast wing. Foot race is on. Bit of backspin late for Worrell. Did well. Gathered against Hutchinson. Turned around. Squeezed it with the boundary line. Wrong way. Free kick going to the Eagles, and Marek will get another touch. The mid-season draftee, Ryan Marek from last year, or 2 years ago rather, is settling in really well. Speaking of, we've got a draft to come on Wednesday. I'm sure the Eagles will play a part in. Marek bangs it up towards the attacking edge. Flying is Williams. Couldn't clunk it. Did well to keep fighting though. Handball a tumbler towards Kelly. Didn't quite hit him. Peatling picks it up. Shoots a handball for the Crows to Cumming. Then Worrell rolls one to Berry. Gets it back. Worrell retreating to Berry. Off balance, snaps and kicks it out on the full. No, it's wobbled in the air.
It came back in.
And sat right on the line for Pedlar. Bit of luck there for the Crows, but they won't make the most of it. Kick up to the attacking edge is picked off by Brock. Here comes Walich Murrow.
Through the centre of the ground on the attack, West Coast now. Kick from Brockman is good. It's long, and the bounce favours through for a goal for Walich Murrow. Terrific work from Tyler Brockman, the former Hawk, and they get one back. So Adelaide lead by 4 points, 5-32. The Eagles 4-4, 28-7 gone in this second term. Josh Franco and Rod Jamieson, your experts.
Jim, I was just going to say, and looking at some of the numbers purely for the second quarter, West Coast Eagles are up to their neck in this contest, and it's inside 56-2. And I was just about to say before that goal was kicked by the Eagles, they're just lacking a little bit of polish. They're doing everything right. They're doing a lot of things right. It's almost just that final connect inside forward 50 or the decision moving forward, which is really hurting them. But we saw on that occasion, Brockman, I think he was actually going for Oscar Allen over the back, got a terrific leg break, and it went through for a major. But they're doing a lot right at the moment, the West Coast.
We did our local show from Walkerville Oval yesterday. That kick of Worrell, that would have landed in the tree at Walkerville Oval.
Paint the picture left half forward there. There was a tree that hung over the ground. You're right. Dead right, Jamo.
Here they go again.
Bounced out of the middle, clean take out of the stoppage. Graham for Wallich Murrowa to Harley Reid. Now Hunt to the goal square. Waterman on the charge, couldn't get a flight. Knocked down, Butts picks it up. Beautiful no-look handball from Curtin. Gave it to Hinge. And now the kick to Keys at right half back. It was an excellent entry from the Eagles.
Well, I reckon they needed, though, at absolute worst, they needed a stoppage. They can't allow the easy exit for Adelaide, which they did.
Kick to Rankin, who's turned it over. Found Baker at centre wing, and the crowd's getting restless at the Adelaide Oval. Gooner by 4.
Uncharacteristically, Rankin then, but Adelaide have done it maybe on 3 occasions.
Baker, the half forward. Ball comes over the back to Keane. Oscar Allen wraps him up in a tackle, the co-captain. The crowd want a free kick to Keane. They're not going to get it. Picked up by Michael Annie. Gives off. Hurried kick from Curtin out of defence. Dangerously close to the line at half back. And wait for the umpire to decide it's just bounced inside.
They paid that one in the first quarter. No, it was insufficient intent. That's an absolute replica of that one. Surely that's insufficient intent. I understand Thilthorpe was in the area, but gee whiz.
Go tell him, Josh.
No.
Tossed in. O'Brien down. Brockman head over the footy, but ball beat him. Picked up by Graham, who shrugs off Hinge and flings the footy into the 50. Up and under bounce for Butts, turned into trouble. Assist came from Millerer. Worrell now across defensive 50. Kicks a little long, one-on-one waiting there. On the bounce, Pedler's tracking Cole. Beautiful, fancy footwork as he darts away from trouble. Cole inside 50. Flynn launched, couldn't take it. Should have in front position, the big man. Reid gathers and is wrapped up immediately, 30 from home.
And the only thing I'll say to that is that's why I reckon they've got to go last possession turnover. Takes all the grey area out of the decision.
Taken by Flynn, taps it down. Close to the line and across the line, unlike Josh Franco to have a comment towards umpires. Actually, you won a McGarry medal in 95, and well, you used to have a little bit to say out there at times.
Never. But what I will say, we talk about the West Coast Eagles, 10-2 inside 50s, clearances dominating. At the moment, they're looking like they've got total momentum and control of this contest.
Throw in. Flynn up against O'Brien, takes it down. Reid trying to work his way through the pack, can't do it. Worrell ends up with it. Handball over the top to Pedler. And gives it to Berry. Goes down the line in front of the interchange gates. Good work there by Allen trying to keep it in front. Peatling gets a handball into the centre of the ground. Berry taken high, and he'll get the free kick for Adelaide.
It's Rankin, Rochelle, just in tight, phone box type stuff. They're able to use the football and get it out to an advantage.
Crows by 4, Berry up to half forward, floating in front of Thilthorpe. Keys missed the footy and it impacted the big man. Ball hits the deck.
Great.
Handball shot back to Thilthorpe, who swings it central. Excellent vision. And a mark's taken straight in front, slight angle to the right by Dan Curtin. And he's going to have to give it away because there was a free kick before that. Zach Taylor will get the shot instead.
I think that's where we go. We talk about West Coast going forward. There are other options. When you slow the game down, you don't have to move it fast by feet, but certainly by foot in terms of the ball. You can just take one step, settle down, players run past, as did Thilthorpe on that occasion, and look what opened up for him.
So Zach Taylor, 16th game this afternoon. Straight approach. Man on the marks, 25 out. Couple of steps for Taylor. It's low and hard. He bangs it towards home and misses to the right-hand side. Guinness leads up to 5. 5-3-33. Wallich Murrowa 4-4-28. 12 played opening term at the Adelaide Oval. It's Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
I guess the only one... Well, there's a dangerous kick in. So they've been inside 3 times, Adelaide, and they've kicked 1 goal, 1. So if it had been straight, get 2 majors from 3 entries.
Yeah, they've been looking okay in that area. Cole with the kick forward, taken through by Hewitt at half-back. Tries to muscle his way through, gives it to Kelly.
That's a great kick.
Yep.
That's Graham's kick. You heard that from Josh Franco. Loved it. It was clever, and he's given it to Liam Ryan, centre wing. Little 1-2 with Hewitt. Ryan lowers the eyes, looking for Waterman. Oh, he goes down low, couldn't quite take it. Oscar Allen gives it. Here's Hutchison with a kick around the corner. Oh, it was a beautiful kick. Did it have enough? No. He centred it sensationally, and Curtin defensively did a great job for Adelaide. So behind for Wallich Murrowa, 4-4-28, trailed by 4 points. Adelaide 5-3-33.
Miller plays on and looks to kick to Cumming. He almost hit Jake Waterman, who was sitting on his haunches after getting stuck into the turf.
I reckon his chin went into the
Had
turf.
a very heavy landing. Just kind of caused a divot with his face. Ball rolls past him and over the boundary line.
And just going back to that Graham kick, didn't blaze, saw Ryan out the corner of his eye. That's the sort of stuff that you almost can't teach players, that sixth sense of where their teammates are.
Tossed in right half forward for the Eagles. Williams tapped it down, kept tracking the footy, and Cumming got there first, and he collared him for his trouble. Free kick to Guana.
If the West Coast could actually finish off their work inside their forward 50, Adelaide would have an absolute game on their hands, because they're dominating just about every metric at the moment in this second quarter.
Another 50-metre penalty against the Eagles as well. Williams didn't walk back to man the mark. So Cumming march towards the centre square. Shoots it across, now on the eastern side. Michael Lanny to Miller, chips it towards Fogarty. Fist came from Brock. Out towards the Wanganeen stand. Curtin left it behind. Miller picks it up towards O'Brien. The big man on the march.
That's the difference, Aaron.
He can smell a big contract. He knows how important the next couple of weeks are to showcase what he's got. He wants 3 years. The Crows are trying to give him 2. And she's turned up this afternoon. Set shot incoming. Man on the mark will be 15 out.
I reckon you've mentioned that 7 times.
Well, that's the difference between the two teams. West Coast struggling to connect inside their forward 50. And what have they gone in? 5 times Adelaide?
Where's this going, Josh?
Straight through the middle.
Big test for the big ruckman. O'Brien with the awkward ball drop, but he gets it done. And O'Brien says, show me the money. Adelaide's up by 10. 15 played, second term. Guana 6-3-39, Wallich Morrowa full 5-29. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Rod Jamieson and Josh Franco, your experts. Shout out to Dave on the text line, who's enjoying the call from sunny Morpheville. Enjoy it, Dave, because there's a pretty ferocious storm coming down south, I reckon. Says, go the Crows. We can't afford to lose to both Western State teams. So the Dockers getting Adelaide a few weeks ago, and the Eagles are certainly in the hunt this afternoon, but the Crows up by 10.
Overall inside 50s, 20-25 up until this point in the second quarter. I guess where Adelaide you can find will improve at the moment. Keys has only had the 3 disposals. Fogarty's only had the 2, and that's 1 mark. Alex Neil-Bullen has only had 2 disposals, and Sid Draper, he's just sitting on a 0 right at the moment too. So 3 or 4 players that can make and have a big impact.
Riley O'Brien with his first goal of the year. Back in the centre of the ground, Berry goes forward, but the mark has been picked up at half-back by Duggan.
Well, interesting as well. It's lived in West Coast forward 50, hasn't it? So a lot of their defenders are getting hold of the footy, Adelaide.
Kick forward, looking for Oscar Allen, brought down to Ryan. He's 50 out, goes long and blazes away with a long kick. Liam Ryan, right place, right time, but it just drifts to the right, so through from behind. Wallich Marwa, 9 points down, 4-6-30. Adelaide, 6-3-39, 16 gone, second term.
Keen to Rochelle in the left back pocket. Arcs his way around Brockman. Swings it towards left half back. Little wide of the one-on-one, and Philthorpe questions the delivery as it rolls over the boundary line.
Just Luke Pedler doing a bit of work to help him out as well. Off the ball.
Well, inside 50s, 14-5 West Coast Eagles way this quarter. So they have dominated field position. Again, they just can't capitalise on the scoreboard. Ryan there missed a sitter.
Thoughts Josh Franco on ABC Sport. Philthorpe wins it down up against Flynn. Picked off by Hoff. Hands it across. Long to Duggan. Now Marek. This is a nice chain through the centre square. Kick to Hutchinson at left half forward for the Eagles. Too far out to score. And has slowed the pace right down as Adelaide flood back and zone ahead. Hutchinson called to play on. He'll heave it centrally. It'll drop 10 out. Oscar Allen was there. Philthorpe copped a shove. Hits the deck. Berry on hands and knees. Extracts it. Didn't know where to go. Didn't have any options.
That's deliberate.
Handed it close to the right forward pocket for the Eagles. Rolls over. And I reckon he's lucky there that it was picked up by Noah Long. Otherwise, they probably would have said insufficient intent.
I reckon Noah almost just let it go.
Let it go, yeah. That was a bit of a miss there from the umpire.
Yep.
Toss back in. Eagles 50. Philthorpe wins it down. Berry tackled quickly by Graham. Gave it away. Hewitt pounces, snaps and misses everything. Oh, that'll be coming back anyway. A free kick to Adelaide. And Berry to receive the footy in the left back pocket. Crows by 9. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Just watching Phil Thorpe doing some ruck work again now, and Riley O'Brien was talking about him the other week, said his engine is enormous and he could be one of the best rucks in the competition. They put him there, and there he is, right on cue. Takes a great mark, great contested mark at half back. Phil Thorpe goes up half forward, Members side. Dawson was his target, couldn't take the mark. And free kick has been picked out, and you can see Dawson getting in there. He's not happy with Tommy Cole's work, and the free kick is going to go to Adelaide. Neil Bullen was taken high, so he's just centre wing. Adelaide Oval here, basking in sunshine, and he just drops a little kick into his skipper. So Dawson, 70 out. Just sits the ball up, looking for a lead from Fogarty, but it had too much on it. And the mark was taken by Sandy Brock.
Good run of form for Sandy. Conceded 8 goals on debut against Jesse Hogan back in round 4. Hasn't conceded one against a tall target in his last 3.
Even the players don't know what the umpire gave that for.
Kick down the line, there was a whistle and everybody turned.
Bailey Williams.
Went Bailey Williams' way, yes. Central kick to Cole. Wallich Murrow now with the switch. Chimby tracking back with the flight. It was an awkward bounce for him. Under pressure. Coming in late. Rankin threw an arm out and caught him high. And they get away with one there.
I think Rankin was trying to con the umpire there too. He had his hand on his chin appealing for the free kick.
Crows had the outnumber for the turnover. They'll get it back anyway as Jimby kicks it straight to Berry. Waiting at half back. Kick through defensive 50 to Laird. And now not the required 15 to Miller. Who didn't hear the call. Ryan on the hunt. Had to hand it back to Laird, and the pressure gets to them. Turnover, kick straight to Tim Kelly. Inside 50, Keane cuts off Allen. Picked up by Gross. Showed the footy towards Roll, then turned into trouble. Keane was waiting. Free kick holding the ball to Guana. Adelaide's up by 9. We haven't had a score in a while, though. 6 to play in this second term on ABC Sport.
Keane goes back to Worrell in the goal square. Just having a look around, he's had a good year, Worrell, so far. Starting to cement his spot in that defence, goes to the outer side. And too close to the line, Curtin sees it over, so we'll have the ball thrown in. Wallich Murrow attacking 50, right on the arc, outer side.
I'll tell you one player I actually do like for the West Coast is Jindy, but he's by foot at the moment. He's turning the ball over every time he gets. He's running at 20% by foot at the minute.
Played his 50th last week, Jinby, as the clearance from the throw-in comes via Curtin. A high kick, and the mark's taken by Dawson.
Foot race.
Out of wing, he goes into the direction of Rankin. He's got some space, but the ball doesn't help him at all. It bounces straight back into Jinby. Handball along the ground, was looking for Graham. Picked up by Curtin, and great vision. Gives it to Rochelle, 45 out.
Well, that's just, again, I probably sound a bit like a broken record. That's the difference between the two teams at the minute. So every time Adelaide go forward, and admittedly that was sort of a fast play from stoppage where they had forwards streaming ahead of the ball, but their composure and ability to find a target inside their forward 50, that's what's letting down the West Coast Eagles at the moment.
Rankin's still on his haunches out the other side of the ground too.
Rochelle, just the 7 touches to date. He's kicked 12-8 for the season. He'll go from right on 50 at the northern end. He likes it. Both arms are out. The crowd love it. They're getting around to pump him up. So Adelaide get another one. They lead now by 15 points, 7-3-45. Wallich Murrow 4-6-30. 22 gone here in the second term.
Well, it's interesting as well. Sorry, Jam, I'm just looking at Adelaide at the moment. We saw this sign come out in the showdown. It's a T, a capital T with a bicep. So one of their officials is holding it on the interchange bench. I don't know what that means, but obviously it's a set play. But again, how often do you see it when a side dominates, can't finish, dominates inside 50 in field position, but then a side just ability to use the ball efficiently going forward, as Adelaide did on that occasion, and convert and make the margin 15 points.
Look at Sam Berry's game too. 14 disposals, leading on the ground. Rory Laird from defence with 13, Rankin 12. But for West Coast, Liam Duggan on the back line, he's had 11. It's good to see Tim Kelly, who's had an indifferent season with 11, getting hold of the footy.
New role as well at half forward, so not in the midfield mix this afternoon. Tap goes the way of the Crows. Peatling rips it out and hands it to Berry, releasing him out of the 50 into the arc. Hits the deck. Front position was Neil Bullen. Tried to squeeze a kick through to Rochelle. Picked off by Neil Bullen again. Gets a handball back to Rankin. Arcs around Graham. Screwing it towards goal. It's a minor score on the right-hand side. Some messy footy as they just did their best to work it across the carpet. In the end, Adelaide up by 16 points. Time on in the second term.
We spoke about the mismatch there too. Jimby goes up, doesn't he?
Exactly what I was about to say. I reckon if you've got an air assister that's standing a Rankin, that's a recipe for disaster. He goes up, tries to air assist. Rankin stays at ground level.
Kick coming out, taken by Dawson. G plays tall.
And he's the player you don't want free at ground level inside 50.
Dawson just ticks it over to Hinge. On centre wing, looks forward, and his kick is almost perfect. Yes, it is, just within where the arc hits the boundary line, and the mark was taken by Cumming. Goes with a little kick forward. He was looking for Rochelle, but it's crunched out of bounds. So it's 30 out, thrown in here from the Adelaide goal.
I don't mind that too, because what Adelaide are doing, if their defender feels that they can just sit back and guard space, you just can't do it the way Adelaide go inside their forward 50. They try and pick something off that's pretty tight, so it has to be one-on-one, which opens up the forward line.
Gooner by 16. Tapped down by Flynn. Trickles out of defensive 50 for the Eagles. Dawson was waiting. Screws it back in. Thilthorpe nearly took it. Lost it at the last bite. Umpire's going to give it to him anyway. They'll pay the mark to Riley Thilthorpe. Had both mitts in front. Footy fell into it. The last possible moment it popped out, but I reckon it was because it was slapped out.
Good little patch here for the Crows too, Jamo. He's talked about the discrepancy in inside 50s. At the moment, Adelaide have gone in 10 times, so the last 4 or 5 minutes it's been all Adelaide.
So Riley Thilthorpe opens the angle, snaps from 20, it's ugly, and misses to the left-hand side. Just didn't quite get the arc. Started too far left and curled through for that blemish. Gooner up by 17 points. Thilthorpe on Harry Edwards this afternoon.
He was almost too casual with that snap, Thilthorpe.
Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Here's Mark Soderstrom.
Kick out the half-back for Eagles. Liam Ryan was the target, couldn't take it, comes down. Jack Graham and Brockman with a handball just as Graham was about to exit, and the umpire has thrown it up here on the forward flank.
So Doug Nichols round. I'd love to see Flying Ryan just pull one down.
Hunt is taken down and he's thrown across the line by Saligo. Yeah, Ryan, of course, he won the mark of the year back, was that what, 2019?
About midweek when you watch those TV programs. Winston Abraham. How good was that mark?
That mark of the year, and it was, well, they were sponsored by chocolate company at the time. I think he got 10 kilos of chocolate for winning. Didn't get a car or anything in that situation.
Toss back in, broadcast wing. Hunt tries to rip it out of the stoppage. Jammed onto the boot by the Eagles and picked off by Laird.
And he told the story, he felt that there was a car the year before, and then it went chocolate, and then it was a car the year after.
Was that the one against Port Adelaide?
No, it was it was GWS.
I remember he sat on Brendan Lade's head one day, and after he said he thought he won the car.
Laird to Butts, bangs it to left half forward. O'Brien got front position, nearly took it against 4. Ball shoots out towards the 50 for the Crows. Picked up by Doug, and he's under a lot of pressure. Rochelle breathing down his neck, rips him to the ground. We'll get a ball up 45 from home.
Well, 2 minutes left in this second quarter. West Coast just have to hang on here.
Crows by 19. Out of the ruck tap. Jimby tumbles it out of defensive 50. Long battling with Laird. Both fall down. And a ball up called on the broadcast wing. Gooner 7-5-47. Walich Murrawa 4-6-30. The Crows in front at home.
O'Brien and Flynn go at it again. Oh, Hunt into the back of Peatling. No, free kick comes back to Saligo via Millerer. And Jinby in a good position. Couldn't take the mark, but just held Rankin out of it close to the line. And Sandy Brock just steps across the line. The crowd want a free kick for no intent, but they're not going to get it. So throw in here, 30 around from the one a goal. They lead by 17 points.
I'll tell you what, if you're Jimby, you're on high alert here. Rankin's looking dangerous, getting on the move.
There he goes.
Yep.
O'Brien taps it down straight to Cumming, wrapped up immediately by Harley Reid. It's a full spin to the deck. We'll get a ball up just outside 50 for Gooner.
Jimmy's got the Dermy Brereton mop, hasn't he, from the late 80s?
It's getting bigger and bigger year upon year. Tapped down by O'Brien. Peatling shoots a handball to come in. Quick entry off a step. 2-on-1 against Thilthorpe. Whistle. Going the Crows' way again. Riley Thilthorpe has copped a couple of generous calls, and the Eagles are frustrated by that one. Had the mismatch. Allen was front position, and Harry Edwards has just escorted Thilthorpe underneath it when he didn't need to.
Well, he's kicked 1 goal 2 in the first half, lining up for his second, and in indication you highlighted, Josh, he should put this out of the park rather than actually just sort of kick or stab at it. His last 2 kicks have been poor.
Nothing fancy here. Straight set shot approach for Riley Thilthorpe. Drop punt is pure. Riley's got 2, and the Crows' lead extends to 23 points. Goorna 8-5-53. Wallich Murrowa 4-6-30. A minute to play in the second term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport with Premiership Crow Rod Jamieson and 4-time Showdown medalist Josh Franco.
Well, Jamo, we mentioned in the early stages of that first quarter, West Coast's ability to win clearance, even though they were losing the hit-out, was outstanding. But you just sense now that the dam wall's about to break. Currently, to this point in the game, the hit-outs are 29-13. When O'Brien's in the ruck, his ability again to find his direct teammates to hit out and hit it on their chest to affect the clearance, which they did on that occasion. And I know we mentioned it many times before, but if you get quick entries inside forward 50, you put the defenders under immense pressure. And once again, Thilthorpe looking dangerous ahead of the ball.
This quarter so to 2. Adelaide 52% to 26 time in possession. Last 10 minutes 44 to only 9% West Coast.
Yeah, real swinging momentum, and those 2 goals from Thilthorpe join him up with Fogarty at 25 for the year. Fogarty just a 1 kick so far today, so can he open up in the second half as the skipper takes it, goes with a little kick on the left foot, picked up there by Sandy Brock on the outer side, goes high at half back now. Read by Laird, gives it to Worrell, he's in trouble, taken down in a tackle, he wants a free kick. Big Jake Waterman, he's going to get it too, so he'll have a shot here late in this first half. He's going to be going from a really tight angle, he's going to be 45 out.
Well, Soto, we talked about the flags, and look, he's got the breeze, almost a 2 to 3 goal breeze over his right shoulder when he's looking at the goals. So definitely within range. It's just the accuracy, and siren's just about to sound as it does, and needs to go back and kick this to make the scoreboard and keep the scoreboard manageable.
Yeah, Goonwalla just got some really nice breathing space with those goals to O'Brien and Thilthorpe. So here is a chance for Waterman, and during the week, Matty Nick said he doesn't want to give up goals in red time. They gave up 6 against Collingwood, so here's a chance for Waterman. He'll be from around about 50, outer side, long kick, he's got it. It looks good, he pumped up the big right fist straight away and with his bicep curl, and that is 2 for him. Waterman just on that critical time here. Adelaide lead by 17 points, so he's pulled that back nicely. Adelaide 8-5-53, Wallich Murrowa 5-6-36.
So the Crows kicking 3 of the last 4. It looked like the margin was about to burst, but Wallich Murrowa still in the hunt here, down 17. Goal scorers at the major break for the Crows. 2 to Thilthorpe, singles to Keys, Rochelle, Pedler, Dawson, Peatling and O'Brien. And for the Eagles, 2 to Waterman, singles to Reid, Brockman and Hoff. The Eagles have been very competitive this afternoon. Just a late little batch in red time has got them on the back foot here, but still a second half to come, and I tell you what, they look a lot better than the last time I saw them at this venue, which was against Carlton back in Gatherround, a 71-point loss, where at that stage it felt like the worst team I'd ever seen live, and maybe a side that couldn't win a game this season. They've come a long way in the last couple of months, and you can feel them building. Adelaide would be a little bit nervy if the Eagles continue up this pressure. Our Roulette on the text line feels the same. You can get in touch with us, 0437 774 774. Roulette says this is one of those potential upset games that Port Adelaide would be drooling over, considering last night. And I know Roulette, who's texted in a few times, is a Port Adelaide man, so I'm sure he's hoping that the crosstown rival will let this one slip. Rod Jamieson, Josh Franco, what are you made of that opening half?
Well, probably just to highlight, Josh, too, in that first 10 minutes you called it, it was 10 inside 50s to 2 in favour of West Coast. That was at the 10-minute mark. It ultimately became 13 to 15 inside 50s to West Coast, so 2 to the advantage, and now they hold 3 overall. They just haven't been able to score, and in that last 10 minutes, only 9% time in possession, 2-goal 4 to 4-goal 3, 7-goal scorers to Adelaide, and it's only the 4 to West Coast. So it's just the options that they don't have up forward and where they're going. But Adelaide, with a number of players we spoke about through that second quarter, still need to get their hands on the footy or to look dangerous and to offer a lot more. West Coast, again, it's just the way that they're hoping or trying to play and really can't execute. Josh Well once again in the back line. Rory Laird doing a tremendous job.
Yeah, well, I reckon it's actually been a relatively entertaining game, and maybe I'm having that perception of it because I thought Adelaide would come and blow West Coast Eagles out of the park. But as you said, to their credit, the Eagles, and I know I've mentioned this a couple of times throughout that first half, that over the last few weeks their pressure has been very good. They're ranked second in the competition, and probably the difference at the moment is West Coast's inability to connect and convert when they go inside forward 50, and conversely when Adelaide, particularly when they get speed on the ball, they look more composed and they've got more options inside their forward 50 and are able to convert, hence the 17-point margin at half-time. And I think that goal late to the West Coast Eagles does keep the margin manageable. There's only probably one of the stats that, and if you looked at the numbers overall, contested ball, uncontested possessions, the tackle count, the ground ball gets, all in favour of Adelaide at half-time, but probably the one when, and we mentioned it late in that second quarter, is you just feel like the dam wall's about to break because Riley O'Brien's getting his hands on the footy in the ruck and starting to connect with his Adelaide midfielders, which in that second half of that second quarter, they did start to dominate field position and look really dangerous ahead of the ball. So I can't sort of help but sense that that's the way the game's going to unfold. But I think the half-time siren went at an absolute perfect time for the West Coast Eagles. They were like the boxer that was waiting for the bell to ring to end the round. And as I said, to cap off the end of that second quarter with a major, the West Coast Eagles keeps the score manageable.
I think we spoke about Harley Reid, Liam Baker, Tim Kelly, Liam Ryan. They have to have a lot of the football, and at half-time, Jaden Hunt disappointing. He's only had 5. Liam Ryan's only had the 5. Harley Reid's had 7. Then you go to Liam Baker's only had 8. Waterman's the 2-goal scorer, and Oscar Allen's only had 5. So there's still some quality players that haven't had a lot of footy. Now, again, I think that's more of what we spoke about, time and possession, and Adelaide winning the football, and these guys are having to defend rather than be attacking on their offensive side. But they're just not winning into the contest, and that latter part of that second quarter, they were so good in the early part. But again, I just think we're all feeling the same way. It's just about to blow open with Adelaide going in at half-time, 17 points up and looking more than dangerous.
Well, I think the other thing as well, to your point, Aaron, again, coming in with the mentality, and I apologise to the West Coast Eagles supporters listening, but I thought this would be an absolute cakewalk. One thing I will say is that from when I've watched the Eagles earlier in this season to now, they definitely have improved.
Huge
they look
jump.
It's massive jump. They actually look like a footy team now rather than a rabble, which is real positive signs for West Coast.
I know it's harsh to say, but I go back to gather round. That was the worst performance I've ever seen. And they've come a long way since then. And again, you look at the list. So the average age is they're 24. The Crows are 25. Game played, they're 22 less. And it's mainly the players under 50, which is such a big thing that I know you're dealing with at Glenelg right now. And in the women's side, Jamo, is players who haven't quite hit that 50 game mark are yet to really understand footy and know where they're supposed to be placed and how they move the ball, and just ingrained enough. And you talk about the ruck battle, Josh. Matt Flynn is deceptive like that. So he hasn't played 50 games. He's one of 11 out there for the Eagles who haven't. And you think, he played 30 at the Giants and he's come over, so he's this senior recruit. He still hasn't hit 50 games. And he's matched up against Riley O'Brien, who's a senior star ruckman. And there's so many other players like that. Jack Hutchinson had his first win last week. He's 1-13 in his career. So there's a lot of these guys who are just experiencing how to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's such an underrated thing in terms of belief and confidence. And a side that has belief and confidence compared to a side that doesn't is a 15-goal different team. So if West Coast can somehow try to eke out a few wins later in the season and start to build that confidence, but absolutely the signs look a lot more positive than they were 4 or 5 weeks ago.
I know it's hard as a coach, Adrian Wilder coming in, but probably 3 or 4 years ago you look at Hawthorn and you can see they're trying to play a style. At the moment I'm not quite sure where West Coast are trying to play. There's nothing definitive or standing out to say this is where they want to go. Like again, I think their back line is it's challenging for them. We keep talking about Jinby on the matchups and what he's trying to do. He needs to be smarter about the way he's playing. I'm sure the defensive coach will be saying that he just can't fly and have Isaac Rankine on the ground where he's most dangerous in the forward 50 or he's D50 at the moment. But they haven't been able to run from one end of the ground to the other. They have tried to go through the middle occasionally. If not, it's always been around the outside, and then they're just bombing forward. So how are you trying to play? So I get the ability of trying to introduce new and also play a game style. I'm just not quite sure where they're at the moment, whereas Adelaide, they want to come through the middle most of the occasion. They want to move it on quick. They want to hit the hard footy. They get the handball out quick, and then they've got the targets and they lower their eyes. So, yeah, they're a little further on in advance from West Coast. But, you know, credit to your point, Josh. I think they've actually improved and they were able to hang on there. But Adelaide, I think, open up second half.
And for those listening out west on 720 ABC Perth, the door isn't closed on an upset here. So the Crows are up by 17 points at halftime. Wallich-Murray right in the thick of this. Had a little rough patch in the middle of the second term, but otherwise they've been very competitive. The Crows, Guana, 8-5-53. Wallich-Murray, 5-6-36. Still to come today, we've got Nam and Sydney up next at the MCG. The Demons have won 4 of their last 5 now and get to host the Swans. So that could be another great victory for them as they close in back towards the 8. And Euroke, the Saints, host the Suns to wrap up the round at Docklands. You can hear that all from 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the Suns, if they win, will have their highest finish at this stage of a season ever. So they'll be looking to be third on the ladder. And they can only really drop lower than that if they suffer a decent loss against Euroke this afternoon, who have lost their last 2. So it'd be a big afternoon for the Suns at Docklands. We've got a couple of star commentary teams for you. So the MCG, you'll get to hear from Adam Ramanauskas and Jarman Impey. And then at Docklands, Nathan Burke and Daniel Harford there as part of the call as well. It's all available to you on the ABC Listen app. And as always, you can get in touch with us on the text line 0437 774 774. Jason and George are driving back to Albany after a great night at Triple J's one night stand in Bustleton. Hope you enjoyed Spacey Jane, Jason and George. Not quite my music, but I know that there are a lot out west who do love it. I think they might even be a local band from memory, Spacey Jane. Jason and George, though, enjoying the call and hoping that the Eagles stay competitive. They've looked good so far. We'll wait and see what the second half has in store. Crows by 17 points. More footy coming your way on ABC Sport in a moment's time. But for now, we can get the latest from the ABC Newsroom, rather.
ABC News with Sarah Amir. Residents have started returning to their homes on the flood-ravaged mid-north coast of New South Wales, with initial estimates indicating 10,000 properties have been damaged. Here's Shannon Schubert.
Emergency workers assessing the damage to flooded homes and businesses have declared 115 properties uninhabitable around Taree and Coffs Harbour. As some communities begin to assess the damage, thousands of people remain isolated. All lanes of the Pacific Highway between Purfleet and Coopanook near Taree have reopened. More than 100 warnings remain in place, with 4 emergency warnings for Telegraph Point near Port Macquarie, Oxley Island and Crokai and surrounds. The State Emergency Service has conducted 16 flood rescues in the past 24 hours, and residents have again been warned not to enter floodwaters.
In other news, neighbours have described the distressing aftermath of a fatal police shooting in South Melbourne last night. A 4-wheel drive was driven at 2 police officers who were arresting a man allegedly armed with a machete. One of the officers was pinned against a wall before he fired shots at the car, killing the 34-year-old female driver and injuring her 26-year-old male passenger. Both the senior constable and the car's passenger were taken to hospital, but the officer has since been discharged. This neighbour says the police response was swift.
As soon as the shots had been fired, police cars came from everywhere. You could still smell the gunfire in the air. And the policeman was still under the car. He was yelling out to get the car off me, get the car off me. And police were all trying to help him and the lady, I presume, that died.
Overseas, officials in Ukraine said the capital Kyiv has again come under aerial attack from Russian forces, despite prisoner swaps going on between the two sides. Ukraine says Russia has handed over close to 700 prisoners. The exchange went ahead hours after Kyiv came under a large-scale Russian drone and missile assault that left at least 15 people injured. Authorities say the capital then came under a drone and missile attack again early today, injuring 11 more. Meanwhile, Russia says it's intercepted around 100 Ukrainian drones, including some targeting the capital, Moscow. The US will today mark 5 years since the murder of George Floyd, which sparked a worldwide movement against police brutality. On the 25th of May 2020, the 46-year-old black man was killed in Minneapolis after a white police officer knelt on his neck as he was being arrested. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison says the US still has a long way to go when it comes to police reform and racial justice.
A good relationship between police and community is essential to have a safe community. When Derek Chauvin murdered George Floyd, yes, he took George Floyd's life, but he also destroyed the trust.
The winner of this year's Palme d'Or Award at the Cannes Film Festival says he hopes his win can inspire filmmakers who are unable to work. The prize has been awarded to Iranian filmmaker Jafar Panahi's thriller It Was Just an Accident. The film was shot secretly in Iran and is based partly on Mr. Panahi's own experience in Iranian prisons. He says Iran's freedom is especially important now and has called on his fellow filmmakers not to be afraid of challenges.
This award isn't really about me. It's for all the filmmakers who are unable to work. But we hope that everyone will be able to do so after this award and find a way to work and make films.
Back home, a new draft report from the New South Wales pricing regulator has proposed a water bill increase much lower than Sydney Water is seeking. Here's Sally Ann Young.
The Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal's draft maximum water prices propose an increase of around $61 each year over the next 5 years plus yearly inflation. That's significantly less than Sydney Water's proposal of around $130 yearly increase plus inflation. IPART says it's reached this decision after looking at Sydney Water's expenditure and considering feedback from stakeholders. Sydney Water has welcomed the draft report and says it will work closely with IPART during the process. IPART is now seeking customer and stakeholder feedback on its draft decision.
And the Ferrari driven by 7-time Formula One world champion Michael Schumacher has sold at auction for more than $28 million. This is ABC News. For more news at any time, you can download the ABC Listen app.
Hello, Patrick Stack here. Do you like sport and good conversation? Then we've got a great podcast for you. One cracking story, in depth, every day, in under 15 minutes. It's called ABC Sport Daily, and you can find it on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
And a whistle going the way of the Crows. They'll take the advantage out the back door, and it's piled into the hill by Keys. He salutes the front row, and Adelaide get a quick major to start the second term.
Through the centre of the ground on the attack, West Coast now. Kick from Brockman, he's good, it's long, and the bounce favours through for a goal.
If the West Coast could actually finish off their work inside their forward 50, Adelaide would have an absolute game on their hands because they're dominating just about every metric at the moment in this second quarter.
Miller picks it up towards O'Brien. The big man on the march.
That's the difference, Aaron.
He can smell a big contract. He knows how important the next couple of weeks are to showcase what he's got. Big test for the big ruckman. O'Brien with the awkward ball drop, but he gets it done. And O'Brien says, show me the money.
Rochelle just the 7 touches to date. He's kicked 12-8 for the season. He'll go from right on 50 at the northern end. He likes it. Both arms are out. The crowd love it. They're getting around to pump him up.
Peatling shoots a handball to come in. Quick entry off a step. 2-on-1 against Thilthorpe. Whistle going the Crows' way again. Thilthorpe drop punt is pure. Riley's got 2.
So here's a chance for Waterman. He'll be from around about 50, out of side, long kick, he's got it. It looks good, he pumped up the big right fist straight away.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Great to have you with us on a surprisingly glorious day in Adelaide. There is a big storm coming tonight, but so far the sun is out, the crowd is full, and the game is competitive. Goanna lead Walich Murrawa by 17 points. The Crows in front over the Eagles, 8-5-53 to 5-6-36. A reminder, this is a West Coast side that won its first game last week. So 0-9 to start the season. Have lost their last 8 at the Adelaide Oval. Haven't won here since 2021. An average of 68 points in that time as well. So this is a new look Eagles outfit that is much more credible and competitive than we've seen in the previous few months. And they're taking it to Adelaide at this stage. The Crows had 3 of the last 4 goals in the second term to really push out the margin, but it was single digits for a large majority of the early stage. No injury news other than the fact that Taylor Walker was managed out of this game late. So Sid Draper came in and is now the sub. Tyrell Dewar is the sub for the Eagles, but no movement from either benches. Aaron Bryans and Mark Soderstrom calling the action alongside Premiership Pro Rod Jamieson and 4-time Showdown medalist Josh Franco. The text line 0437 774 774 if you do want to get in touch. Bill's done just that and says, with Taylor Walker not playing today, it's a great opportunity for Darcy Fogarty to shine, and sadly he's letting himself down with just 1 kick. And you're right, Bill, and we mentioned it through the call, but Sandy Brock, what a month he's having. So 8 goals against him on debut against Jesse Hogan out at Giant Stadium, which was no easy task to be flung into. Since then, he's kept all of his direct opponents goalless. And Darcy Fogarty is his latest victim so far this afternoon. So we'll wait and see if he can keep it that way through the next couple of quarters, Josh.
Can I just say one thing there? I reckon that shows where Adelaide have come and how far they've come. You've still got Thilthorpe, you've still got Walker to come back into the side. And that's why, go back to the start of the game, I think they've got the most dynamic forward line in the competition because of that exact reason.
Good to have options.
Yeah,
when one man goes down, you've got another to come back up.
Yeah.
Ron from Adelaide also says, hi team, enjoying the call. The Crows aren't out of first gear yet and they need to pull their finger out. So Ron feels there's more to give from the home side, and we might see that in the second half if they decide to unleash on the visitors. Still a couple of games to come today, so we'll wrap up the round at Docklands with Euroyoke and Gold Coast from 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The next game that we'll take you to at the conclusion of this one will be Naarm and Sydney, the D's and the Swans. We're about 40 minutes away from bounce down there, so if you do want to hear it, jump on the ABC Listen app and hit the AFL button. They've started their coverage, but it's just pre-game at the moment. No late changes there, so Harry Sharp and Taylor Adams are the subs for the 2 respective sides. So Callum Mills will be back in for Sydney, and Jake Lever returns for Melbourne as well. So you can hear that all on the ABC Listen app through the AFL button. Matt Clinch, Ben Cameron, Adam Ramanauskas and Jarman Impey, your call team there at the MCG. Here at the Adelaide Oval, as I touched on, a competitive game. Adelaide up by 17 points. Can you see it staying that way, Jammo, or is it about to get ugly?
Oh, I think it's... Well, I'll give West Coast the credit at the moment too. They've been able to hang in there and take it to Adelaide. Probably that last part of certainly 10, 15 minutes of that second quarter was probably more disappointing if Adam McWalter was looking at him critically. But look, Adelaide are just using the football, and I think the sentiment coming through from all of our people that follow Adelaide on the text is they just haven't quite got it together as yet. But if they put together 20 minutes and with their inside 50s, they're looking dangerous sufficiently. The one thing I do have a look at, and I'll get a bit of a giggle, Aaron, is the pocket profile that's in the...
Here we go.
Yeah, I know. So this is Cohen Livingston, number 39 for West Coast. He's 200 centimetres, hasn't debuted yet, Soda. Wants to be a Formula 1 driver.
Jeez, it's going to be a big car, and he's leaving his run late.
He has.
Would the halo protect him in a car? I think he'd be too tall.
And the best word game puzzler is Sandy Brock.
There you go.
Hey?
Smart man.
Well, I don't know if he's a smart man. It all depends. I want to see what puzzle he's doing.
And look, Cohen Livingston had a good pre-season as well, shined in a couple of the pracky matches, so we might see him sometime soon.
Coach's favourite saying before we go, nothing's perfect. Their first half hasn't been. Maybe the second half will be.
No, it hasn't been perfect, but it has been much improved. They had the win last week. Walich Murrawa, they go up into the ruck work now, and it's taken down straight away. Harley Reid and also Jordan Dawson wrestling over the ball, so we'll have a reset.
I think if the Eagles can generate enough inside 50s but tidy up their connection, they're half a chance here.
Ball tapped down. Dawson again just flicks out a little handball. Michael Laney. Oh, his kick was to Rochelle. Rochelle slipped. It opened the door for Marek, and he'll see the ball out. And they just run it through the interchange gates here, just in the opening seconds of this second half.
But having said that, you'd expect Adelaide to flex their muscles.
Harley Reid, Jordan Dawson. Now, no, he's gone to Sam Berry.
Tossed in, O'Brien with a double tap down, straight to Rankin, fumbled against Graham, becomes the tackler on Brockman. The Eagles get it out, Graham back to Brockman, sidesteps Berry, who kept fighting, caught him in the tackle, swung around, the ball pops out towards the boundary line, kept in. Michaelani hacks it forward up to half forward, and the rise back with the flight from Jimby. The courage. Phil thought was coming one way, and he launched into the air to reel it in. Has copped a corky for his troubles as well. Jimby has it at left half back for Walich-Marawa.
That was Dermot Brereton-like with those flowing golden locks. His kick, though, up to centre wing. Mark can't be completed. Dawson had a go at it, and so did Riley O'Brien. Dawson extracts it, and he's taken down by a couple of Eagles. Oscar Allen, and the free kick, though, is going to go the way of the Eagles. Good tackle. It was, well, no surprise, Jack Graham. He's got a runner in Marrick, gives it, he goes into the attacking 50. The kick is good, and Bailey Williams takes the mark. He's 40 out. Good start for the Eagles, just what they needed.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jamie, you talked about Jinby not going all that well by foot, just running at 17% efficiency, but his aerial stuff and his competitiveness is really a real positive shining light for the West Coast Eagles in their back 50. Ben, we spoke about if they can tidy up their connection inside forward 50. Now, that was a little bit lucky, but you never know, because if they can generate enough inside 50s and apply enough scoreboard pressure, as I said, it's game on.
Bailey Williams bagged a couple last week. This kick, he's just sat back on it a little bit, hung it out to the right. So back to within 16 points. 2 minutes gone in this third term. 8-5-53 Adelaide. Walich-Marawa 5-7-37.
The sweet kick.
Keen to bring it in. Heads to the broadcast wing. On the march, Dawson, a drop low for him late. Tried the slips catch, ricocheted out. Neil Bullen hands it to Berry across half-back, then butts back to the midfielder. Bounds his way past Reid, back to Neil Bullen. Pushed as he kicked by Gross, won't matter. He's hit Curtin perfectly, who could turn through an open centre wing. Could have gone for a run, instead quickly kicked to Rankin. Wasn't placed well. Isaac makes it work. Shrugs a tackle that could have been high. Kicks centrally, too hot. Little bit high in the end for his target. Fogarty trying to rip it out. But in the end, the ill delivery forces a ball up 30 in front.
Well, Rankin knew it, didn't he, too? Just he let it bounce. He was able to keep it in. Jack Graham came at it, and he just got around him, but the kick was poor.
Yeah, a couple of bad kicking errors there, Curtin and Rankin. Little handball along the ground from Saligo, running out on a lead on a handball. Unusually, as Thilthorpe kick going forward. Jinby in defence, holds it up okay, gives it to Hoff. A little slip. Kick exits outside the defensive 50. Mark couldn't be taken by Miller. A flew uncontested, and a free kick, though, is going to be handed out here to Laird. Sends a handball onto Worrell. His kick, though, you can hear the crowd. He's just blown that under no pressure whatsoever. Has put it out of bounds on the full.
Good winner by 16 points. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
It's glowing of the way Adelaide used their foot disposal in the first quarter and first half, but a couple of wayward kicks.
Hasn't been pretty footy to start this third term. Crowds lost a lot of momentum as a result. Jimby bangs it high and long. 4-on-4 at the drop. Fist came in, rolls towards the boundary line, and Cummings happy to let it roll over in front of the Williams stand. Here's Sir Doug Nicholls' Indigenous round, the second week of the fortnight. We love touching on the Indigenous Guernseys as well. We haven't had a chance to shout out some of the glorious artwork out there. Might start with the Crows, because they did manage to track down Graham Johncock, who had gone missing from the club for a couple of weeks. He designed their Guernsey. They were hoping to get him around last week. Wasn't available. Tossed in. Reid picks it up. Tackled by Rankin. Got a handball out late. Long with the 1-2 with Dargan. Came back to him, but Keys was waiting. Pounced. Tackled. Holding the ball.
Wasn't that outstanding, Gemma?
Totally.
Yeah.
He just anticipated where the footy was going to go.
The Malcolm Blight medalist with a superb entry. Kick straight to Fogarty, who was waiting in the pocket. He's 25 from home. Gearing up for his first set shot of the afternoon.
Well, one of the things in my other job, working at a school and talking to school kids and how to play as a footballer and closing time and space, that was an absolute classic example of ability to close tackle and stick the tackle. Outstanding, Keys.
Fogarty with a stutter step. Drops it low, strikes it poorly off the side of the boot and through for a minor score. And Sandy Brock's streak remains alive. Adelaide's lead back up to 17 points. So star crow Graham Johncock, a Wirangu man, combined with Christine Schooner, designed the Guernsey that features a large crow, footprints around it, the journey of Adelaide, and some sea creatures as well, including the blue swimmer crab.
Oh, they're tasty as well.
Jamard whipped that up with a nice little bit of chili in the linguine. This kick, though, is good too. It goes to Harley Reid. He works his way around Worrell, and his vision is outstanding. Gives it to Liam Ryan, and he is right in front of the scoreboard here in that Eddie Betts pocket. And he's going to have a shot from about 20 out, tight angle.
Chili scrambled eggs too, Soda.
Nice.
Well, I'll tell you what, that shot on goal here from Ryan was set up, and I don't know who it was. It escaped me. I don't know if it was Hunt or who it was. The kick-off half-back that changed about 45 degrees inboard was just unbelievable, and it opened up the whole inside 50.
Ryan just goes with the drop punt from a really tight angle and just crashes it in to the point post. So Adelaide will bring it in. Another wasted opportunity. He's had a couple of goes at it. Liam couldn't penetrate there. 17 points, Adelaide lead by still 6 minutes gone in this third term.
11 goals, 7 coming into the game. He's kicked 2 behinds in the first half and 1 out in the full.
Michael Annie to a pack on the broadcast swing. Tapped down and Neil Bullen tackled over the line. Left half forward for Walich Marawa. They're currently down 17 points. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Tossed into play. O'Brien entangled with Flynn. The Crows, Ruckman wins down. Tracking it as Peatling first to the footy. Brockman tried a bit of tunnel ball. Ricocheted back to him off the shins of Saligo, and he's wrapped up by 3 for his troubles, including a headlock, and pinged holding the ball. Free kick, James Peatling. And coming on off the bench is a quick change there as Laird swaps with Hinge, and he's all alone. He can march up to half forward, spear it in. Fogarty forced to spoil from behind, knocked it down towards Keys. He's retreating out of the 50, no one to go to. Cole was hunting, caught him, and they're going to pay a boundary throw-in because Keys has fallen over the line at the last possible moment.
I'll tell you what.
Reward the effort.
Oh, come on, umpire.
Well hunted, wasn't it, too?
Oh, was it? Yeah, outstanding
Tom
pressure
Cole.
and tackle. Yep. Should have been rewarded.
Throw in front position was Flynn. Knocked it down to Graham. Reid to Hewitt. Gets a hurried kick forward. Oscar Allen launches at it, couldn't take it in front of Keane. Picked up by Hinge. Puts a handball in the direction of Saligo. Did well. Good hands there from Rankin to Miller and misses it. Got time to pick it up. Goes back to Hinge and he runs around in a circle to escape Ryan. And that is a good mark by Michael Annie. He's off. He outsmarted Brockman there, and the kick is terrific. Mark taken by Curtin right on 50. Lowers the eyes. Oh, he's looking for Berry. He's coughed it up. Here's a chance for Baker. He's brought down in the tackle. The crowd are getting involved now. Worrell's got it. Gives it to Miller. Back to Worrell. He's not going to get out. Then he goes a little handball over the top. Miller to Keys. They're still alive, Adelaide, and Keys' kick is terrific. Mark taken out aside. Rochelle, he too goes into the square looking for Thilthorpe. Couldn't take the mark. Good build up by Adelaide there. They were patient, but they got it right.
And probably to our point at half-time, Gemma, you just sense if West Coast pressure drops, it's going to be Adelaide by how much. But at the moment, they're hanging in there and hanging tough.
Well, they're doing damage to themselves.
Yeah.
They're just missing the easy options. A couple of easy kicks that have both gone over the head.
Point apiece in this third term. Guina by 17. Both rucks missed the boundary throw-in. Barry tried the paddle at the back. And Pedler turned into trouble. Wrapped up, 35 out. Straight in front.
Sandy Brock, great tackle.
Guina in a dangerous position. Flynn down. Hutchinson uses the body on Pedler. Ball ricochets to Barry. Caught from behind. Good tackle. Coming the other way. Brockman wraps him up. So we're now closer to 40 out. Slight angle to the right. They've gone across the arc, basically, the Crows, after that original entry missed its target. O'Brien uses his strength, pushes off Flynn. Up and under kick, though. 30 from home. Saligo couldn't take it. Hutchinson wrapped up by Rochelle. He got a handball late. Marriott collapses into the footy. Quick whistle for the ball up. 25 from home now. Just navigating our way around Guina's attacking 50.
Well, West Coast are trying to get out, but if they handball back, it's going closer to Adelaide's goals. If they go forward, it's just a dangerous area.
Well, here's a chance for Rankin. Rankin, he was taken high. The umpire gave him the free kick. Didn't quite have the ball in possession. He was swung around. He's going to have it out now. 15 out directly in front.
Well, I tell you what happens as well. When you talk repeat stoppage after stoppage inside your forward 50, from a defensive point of view, it builds the pressure. And when you got guys like Rankin and Rochelle and those dangerous small forwards lurking at every stoppage, eventually the cracks appear, and Rankin was on the fly, draws the free kick, shot on goal. Good play.
Marek just put the hand high, got it around the neck there. So Rankin from point blank, 15 out to get Gowanna back to where they were. He's gone with the little bow and arrow as well, the Xavier Dersma. So Rankin gets his first for the game. The lead back out to 23 points. Wallachmara 5-7-37 trailing. Adelaide 9-6-60. 11 minutes gone, third term.
I think I heard an interview about Isaac Rankin. They said if you do pre-season, he'll be midfield or if not last. Put a footy in front of him, he'll just run like a rabbit forever and a day. Just won't stop. Just loves getting out after the footy.
Well, the irony of an Isaac Rankin, I spent a couple of years at the Gold Coast with him. He was running 2 kilometres in the low sixes. I reckon he was about a 6:15, 6:10 to 6:15, which is elite.
Yep.
Like phenomenal in terms of his aerobic capacity.
He's on the ball this afternoon. Equal game high lead for Gowanna. 23 points over the Eagles. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Thoughts of Rod Jamieson and Josh Franco there. Bounce in the middle. Williams knocks it down. Dawson gathers on the bounce though. Brought to ground as he got his kick away. Fogarty caught behind. Read it well as it bounced off Brock. Wrapped up in a sandwich for his troubles.
And Aaron clearances this quarter 6-1, now 7-1, and inside 50's 8-2. So you just sense that's the way the game's going at the moment. Played in Adelaide's forward half, front half. And again, we talk about the dam wall breaking. West Coast hanging on for dear life at the minute.
O'Brien, beautiful tap, straight down the throat of Saligo, snaps from 25 and misses to the left-hand side. Adelaide's lead up to 24 points, so 1 goal 2 this term, despite that inside 50 dominance. Gowanna 9-7-61, Wallachmara 5-7-37.
Yeah, you're right, Josh Franco. You're just starting to get this feeling that Adelaide are getting further on top. The kick out taken by Waterman, stuck the one mid out and able to bring it down in front of Butts. Good take, but he's a long, long way from home. Jake Waterman, All-Australian last year. Long kick up to half forward, looking for his co-captain in Oscar Allen. Ball's thumped away, but the free kick is going to go the way of Allen. So he has it at half forward.
He's got nothing to go to here, Soda.
Yeah, he just has to hold on a little bit, gives it to Kelly. And with that new role at half forward, just averaging 17 touches a game, Tim Kelly, which is obviously a lot less than what we'd come to expect from the former Cat. The kick goes up. Oh, Brockman rises high and takes a nice grab over the top of Saligo.
Gee, I like him as a player, isn't he? Really strong defensively, presents well. Overhead mark in the contested. 4 players involved.
Just a beautifully weighted kick, wasn't it, too, from Kelly? I think he was the intended target. It was just, perfectly weighted. Allowed Brockman to get the sit.
Brockman, of course, spent most of his time forward with Hawthorn. A little more time in the midfield here with Wallachmara. He's 30 out, tight angle. We can ride it from here. He hangs it out to the right and it just doesn't come back. But it was a great take. Certainly got the Eagles supporters that have made the trek across the Nullarbor excited. And Wallachmara 5-8-38, trail by 23 points. Goonwarra 9-7-61.
Miller plays on, drives it up towards the logo on the broadcast swing, straight to Ryan Marek.
Pedler fell over.
This guy knows how to find the footy across defensive 50. Marek, short kick to Hunt, just the required 15. The former Demon wheels away, gets past Curtin, kick inside 50, lands a bit short to Graham, wrapped up by Peatling. We'll get a ball up. Reckon a hand came in there to impact the disposal, which was why it didn't have the carry. Ball up 45 from home for the Eagles. Currently down 23.
Don't know if we've seen the best of Jaden Hunt since he's gone to West Coast.
O'Brien takes it out of the ruck. Handball nearly sharked by Ryan. Did enough to knock it to Graham. Liam Ryan gets it back. Snaps from 35 and misses to the right-hand side. Leads down to 22 for the Crows. 9-7-61 to the Eagles. 5-8-38. Jaden Hunt's story is an interesting one, Jamo. Missed out on the Demons premiership. He was an emergency that day and then left for the Eagles, and you're right, it's kind of been on a downtrend ever since.
Kick in from Laird, looking for Riley O'Brien. Couldn't take the mark. There's Hunt right on cue. Pumps the ball back into the attacking 50 for Wallich-Murray. Big punch comes down to Baker. Oh, it was a good kick, but Marrick just slipped at the crucial time. It was Gross rather, and Adelaide get the chance to turn things over. Saligo has it, centre of the ground. Good kick out towards the skipper in Dawson. He's got plenty of room, and he's got Pedler on his own in the square. The kick is outstanding, and Pedler jumps up and makes it look a little more spectacular and takes the mark in the square.
Well, they were the number one team, Josh, a couple of weeks ago, from going from defence to their forward, and just the ease. And when Adelaide are at their absolute best, the forwards, they just eat that sort of stuff up.
Well, Luke Pedler in the side for the first time since round 8 last year, and he puts through his second goal. Crucial miss from Leon Ryan. Adelaide turn it around quickly, and the lead's back out to 28 points. Goonwalla 10-7-67, Wallich-Murray 5-9-39, 16 gone third term.
Well, I was just about to say, rinse and repeat in terms of the way the game has unfolded. West Coast pressing, they've had 4 shots on goal this quarter, and 3 have been really gettable, unable to finish, and just don't have the polish to finish off in front of goal. And when you're coming to a venue where you've lost the last 8 by an average margin of 10 or 11 goals, you've got to have everything going right for you. You've got to make the most of the opportunities when you get them. West Coast unable to do that, and as we said, tell you what, when you get it in the hands of the good ball users for the Adelaide Crows, a la Jordan Dawson, that kick inside 50 was outstanding.
Clearances this quarter 8-2 in favour of Adelaide.
Thoughts of Josh Franco and Rod Jamieson on ABC Sport. Crows by 28. In the middle, Flynn wins it down for Wallich-Murray to Hewitt. Now Reid trying to brush off Peatling, who wouldn't let go. Tackle slip late, and they've paid a leg. Free kick to Harley Reid. Peatling unlucky there. Hung on for an eternity. Reid high inside 50. It's carrying to the goal square. What a mark! Oscar Allen stuck both arms into the air, almost closed his eyes, and just hoped it would land there. And he's got glue on his mitts, because that is stuck.
Well, I think Mark Keane would be disappointed, as would the defensive coach of Adelaide. He did try and mark in that contest. He just had to get a fist to it.
Surrounded by bodies, Oscar Allen has made that work. Slight angle to the left. Man on the mark will be 15 from home. Big O.
Even Harley Reid's limping a little bit after that last tackle, so we'll keep an eye on him as well.
Broke his drought with 2 goals last week in a quiet season. Allen with a couple of steps, stabs at it, wasn't pretty, but finishes. And the Eagles get one back. Margin 22 once again. Wallich-Murray 6-9-45. Guana 10-7-67 with 7 to play in the third term. 5th member of our commentary team as well as Liz Walsh downstairs, who unfortunately due to technical difficulties we can't hear from her until
is she going to get paid
the
today?
end of the game. Yes, she is. I was going to say she's having the most glorious afternoon. Midweek it was supposed to be a severe storm today, and it's probably coming tonight now. Beautiful sunshine. She's texted saying if you need a wind update, it's a pleasant breeze, stunning day, no dew on the ground, so it sounds like she's having an absolute dream, but is a little bit concerned that Tom Gross might be about to be subbed out of the game due to a tactical reason. So we'll check back in with Liz in a moment's time, but she's having a glorious afternoon, as are the Crows, up 22.
I might bring her off the bench. She can do my role for the second half, and I'll go down there.
Good on you, Liz. Enjoy it down there. Tommy Gross started as a sub last week. Torrell Dewar waiting to come on if he gets a chance. Riley O'Brien takes it out of the centre after doing the ruck work in the direction of Pedler. He just goes with a kick, a little left-footed, tries to roll it in. Handball to Rochelle, couldn't take it, and Neil Bullen picks it up. You can hear the crowd response outside of the right foot. He puts it through the former Demon, and Adelaide get the response within a minute after Oscar Allen's goal. Just what they need to restore that lead. 28 points, 20 minutes gone. 11-7-73, Wallich-Murray 6-9-45.
Well, just the term dirty ball, really, wasn't it, Josh? It was just Adelaide got it in forward too. Pedler deep, just about to go out of bounds, and he gets his left foot into it. West Coast fumble over the back. Darcy Fogarty involved. Rochelle also too. They just run over the top, and In the end, Bullen, he's kicked it through 3 defenders of West Coast from about 2 metres out.
I guess the other thing, when we did speak about and touch on it at half-time, was Adelaide's ability to start getting clearance dominance. Now, they now have it, which is translating into field position dominance and looking really dangerous every time they go inside 450. And again, on that occasion, the clearance from Thilthorpe, the big fella, was unstoppable in the centre bounce.
No matter the challenge, Liz Walsh always delivers. She's nailed it. Tom Gross out tactical, so Tyrell Dewar activated, and Zach Taylor also out tactical, which means that Sid Draper is on the ground for the Crows.
I like that with Draper inside straight away.
Tossed up in the middle, Williams down, Reid fumbled, keeps fighting as Thilthorpe gathers, laid the tackle, forced the turnover. The Eagles now through Baker to Hoff, then across to Cole, sold his teammate away, a lot of pressure. Hewitt turned into trouble and Dawson pinned him to the ground. Free kick to Guana. And Hewitt, in his attempt to stand up, has flipped Dawson over like a judo flip. Dawson won't mind. He plays on, takes the footy, pops up and races away into the 50. Whistle before the ball even lands. And a free kick for a hold is going to go West Coast way. Umpires aren't too sure what's happening here. One's pointing one way, the other is the other.
Well, Hewitt gave it away. He just dropped Dawson behind play. Just the frustration, wasn't it, too, being caught.
So Pedler will receive the free kick. Lee Howson wanted to give it to the Crows, and that's what's happened in the end. It was Andrew Adair, who was the non-controlling umpire, who was pointing the other way. And they've come together and decided Adelaide's ball. Tight angle, 25 out. Pedler, who was drafted as a midfielder, has turned more into a half-forward. Plenty of goals in the Sandful. Comes in, tight angle. Can't cap off the afternoon with a third major. He misses to the right-hand side. Adelaide's lead 29 points. Still 6 to play in the third term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Probably Pedler to me is the one that actually highlights Adelaide's depth now. I reckon he'd get a game in most sides in the competition, and as you said, spent a fair bit of time in the Sandful this year.
Well, Brock took the mark from the kick in, goes along to centre wing. Ball thumped forward, taken by Keys, gives it to Hinge. His handball was a little wayward. He was looking for Curtin, couldn't take it, and the tackle is going to go in favour of Adelaide. It was against Hutchison. The umpire's deemed a little too high, so this is Peatling now, right in your true centre half forward position. Adelaide going to the right of the dial. River End gives it out to his skipper in Dawson. He's 60 out, long into the square. Goes over the top of everyone and just bounces to the left of the left-hand goalpost, through for a behind. Adelaide 30 points. Wallachmara 6-9 45. 11-9 75. 23 gone.
7 scores from 12 inside 50s this quarter.
Duggan up to the broadcast wing. The Eagles just can't get it past halfway. Flurry of bodies. Off hands, it hits the deck. Dawson shoveled a handball out, picked off by Hoff. Ryan shrugged the shoulder. The umpire wasn't buying it. Neil Bullen did get him high. Ball will continue forward, and a tackle laid as Peatling wraps up another Eagle to the deck. Baker's the last man to pop up. Ball up just outside the 50 for the Crows. Thilthorpe swings a big slap forward. Reid was waiting, handball missed its target, bursting through and parting the seas was Hinge, gives it to Cumming, threw it on the boot, low spiral, didn't work for Keys. Baker faked higher than ducked low into a tackle of Neil Bullen. They've given it away. Draper activated, kicked it straight to the back of Peatling, who had stopped on his haunches. He was gassed and will get a ball up.
Does he get a touch for that, Peter? That's a kick, isn't it?
Ricocheted off his shin in the end. Had no idea where the footy was, Peatling.
Metres gained -3.
Out of the stoppage, the Eagles get the clearance.
Hoff's kick only as far as Miller. He's got that new 3-year deal. He's over all the foot and knee problems he had. He looks for Thilthorpe. You heard from Rod Jamieson. The kick was on. He couldn't quite get it. Here's a chance. It'll kick around the corner for Adelaide. The handball came out, and that is a goal. Nicely done on the right foot. Benny Keys able to put it through, and he celebrates for his second. Berry, rather.
10 goal scorers to Adelaide. Multiples to Thilthorpe with 2, Pedler with 2. But just the spread and the damage we talk about. The 3-headed monster and Taylor Walker having a rest. Matthew Nix doing that. But just the options that Adelaide have had. Jake Waterman with the 2 in the first half. Reid with 1, Brockman with 1, and Hoff with 1. Outside of that, Liam Ryan's been a little loose and kicked 3 behinds and went out in the full.
And as we've said throughout this third quarter, the numbers are pointing now to a pretty big Adelaide win. The clearance is a 10-5 the Crows' way. The inside 50's 14-7. So once again, you win stoppage, you get some clean ball away from the scramble, and you dominate field position eventually. The dam wall breaks, and it looks like it's just about to for the Eagles.
It's almost Sam Berry's best game today too, still with another quarter to go.
He's banging the door down with 4 consecutive sub rolls, and now he finally gets a full game and cashes in. Crows with a game-high 36-point lead out of the middle. Hoff threw it on the boot, up and under, that carried to the eastern wing. Curtin was there on the logo. Gives it off to Hinge. Low dart that works for Neil Bullen, diving to his left. Trapped it, handed it to Rankin. Lowered the eyes and a short kick to Thilthorpe, who marks 30 from home. Tight angle to the left.
I think the other thing from West Coast Eagles' perspective, we talk about improvement and hanging in games. I think it's a really important last quarter for them, just to make and ensure that this margin on the scoreboard doesn't blow out to an embarrassing loss after the good work they did and the competitive nature of the way they played in that first half. But at the moment, it's all Adelaide.
Thilthorpe starts in front of the prosciutto stand. Baked in sunshine. He'll cross the paint of 50. Drives it on the right boot. Umpire darts to his left, and it will be a minor score. Riley Thilthorpe with a blemish. Adelaide's lead to 37 points. He's had 2 goals, 3 this afternoon, Riley Thilthorpe. The Eagles will be very thankful that they're still in this game as a result.
All been gettable too for Thilthorpe. Here's Flynn. From the kick out goes Reid, goes for the fly, and he's down even before the ball gets anywhere near him.
That was hilarious.
He's gone. He was looking for the car or the chocolate or whatever they were going to hand out this year. Ryan knocks it forward. Little give from Waterman. Adelaide defensively did really well. It was Neil Bullen that came through. Under pressure now coming. Brockman chased him down. Neil Bullen again receives the handball. Gives it off. Berry, the goal kicker, gives it back to Neil Bullen. He's got to run around. Cole wraps him up, back to Berry. Dawson, they can't stick a tackle, and it takes the captain to stop the rock, and he slots it through from 50. Jordan Dawson is having another outstanding game, and Adelaide creep out to a 43-point buffer, while it's Mara's 6-9-45, 13-10, 88 Goonwatta.
That was outstanding by Alex Neil Bullen, wasn't it too? Just his ability to gut run, the handballs. The one thing I love about the way Adelaide play, and it's when you play simple footy, just give it to someone in a better position, and they are doing that, but they're actually putting themselves under a fair bit of pressure because some of the handballs are just that tight, and the pressure from West Coast is there. He had 3 players on him, but he managed to keep the footy free, which then handball back or sideways, and then you've got other free Adelaide players that are there to run and support. So, outstanding goal, Adelaide.
Cheeky from Neil Bullen to take on 3.
Well, that's the other thing as well.
And he still got out of it.
Every single mistake that the West Coast Eagles are making now, Adelaide are really smelling blood and capitalising on that, as they did on that occasion.
5-5 in this quarter, Adelaide, to 1 goal 3, West Coast.
43 points the lead. Good news for you if you want an alternative. The D's and the Swans are about to start at the MCG. So the ABC Listen app, you can hear it through the AFL button if you want to hear that game. Otherwise, stay with us for the conclusion of this one. Tossed into the air. Flynn down. Hewitt wrapped up quickly by Saligo. We'll get a ball up just outside the circle near the Ghana logo. Sir Doug Nicholls Indigenous round here in South Australia. O'Brien thrusts it forward out of the stoppage. Baker had an awkward bounce. Rankin reads it well. Darts away from a couple of tackles. Hooks it around the body. Big fly from Berry. Couldn't bring it down, and it rolls through for a minor score. Gee, saw Sandy Brock and thought, why not go for the biggest hanger I've ever taken?
I could see that coming a mile away, and he didn't even get his hands to it.
It's a good effort.
Berry, Ryan Reid all having a crack at mark of the year today. No one successful so far. Kick in comes out to Riley O'Brien, and his little handball not effective, and we'll have the umpire intervene. He's going to let things go here. The ball's still bubbling around in the back. Harley Reid takes it, tries to shrug away a couple of Crows. He can't do it. Draper on, hands it over to Kelly. He gives it to Reid, gets his way around. Handball over the top. He missed his co-captain. Coming through was coming. His kick just hacked into the centre of the ground. Bounces for Thilthorpe. Here's a chance now. Rankin gives it to Berry. Back to Rankin. He missed it. Berry's got time to pick it up. Little handball, he gives it to Rankin again, so he runs in. He gives it to Rochelle. Adelaide needs something here. And Josh Rochelle on the right, after a number of errors, able to put it through. The Crows get the goal. 6-9-45 West Coast. Adelaide now out by 50 points. 14-11-95. 30 minutes gone here in the third quarter. Sunday footy, ABC Sport.
Jamo, just echo what I said previously after Adelaide's last goal. The turnover from Harley Reid missed the handball, and the Adelaide Crows are just smelling blood at the moment. Every time the ball's turned over, they get their hands on it. And the old cream rising to the top. Dawson's having the involvement. Rankin's looking dangerous. Rochelle on that occasion finishing off with a beautiful goal. They're just, as I said, smelling blood.
I love Harley Reid's intent, and I think we all do, his ability to want to get at it, but he actually wants to take on a player, where conversely Adelaide, when they are under pressure, they give the handball first. Harley takes them on, which then applies pressure to his teammate because the handball is either looped or it allows the defence to get, or the one in that deep 50 forward, it actually missed his teammate altogether.
Good winner by 50. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. O'Brien won it down. Straight to Saligo. He's caught high.
Oh, that's a great call, Gemmo.
Free kick against Hoff. Saligo. Searching kick inside 50. Long and straight. Off hands. Rankin pounces. Snaps. Curling. Hits the post. Isaac Rankin eyeing off something special in Indigenous round, and the Narrandjeri man couldn't finish it off. 51 points, Adelaide's lead, as we close in on three-quarter time here at the Adelaide Oval.
He's had 8 disposals in this quarter. Jordan Dawson 7. Harley Reid with 6, as well as Marriage 6 for West Coast.
It was a 16-point game at half-time. Goonwater has kicked 6 goals to 1 in this third term. Big fly came. The mark couldn't be taken by Dawson. Comes back to Worrell. On his left, right into the attacking 50. Going back was Oscar Allen, who's been put behind the ball to try and stem this. Picked up by Rochelle. He goes on the outside of the Broadwood, the check side, through the middle, looks over the crowd, puts the arms out. And it's starting now. The flood is coming. Adelaide 15-12-102. West Coast 6-9-45. 32 minutes gone. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, Jamo, it's party time now for the Adelaide Crows. Inside 50s this quarter, 21-8. Clearances, they've doubled them. The Crows 12-6, and the hit-outs again has been all Adelaide, dominating around the footy. And as we said, now that they're starting to sense that the game's opening up, all their stars are starting to cash in. Rochelle, Rankin, Dawson, all looking ominous.
14 scoring shots. 7 goals, 7 Adelaide in this quarter to West Coast, 1 goal, 3. 15 seconds remaining in this third quarter.
Crows raised the bat for the 6th time this season as well. Massive scoring prowess when they turn it on. Up 57 points. Out of the middle, another exit. Dawson got through 2 tackles and released Cumming. Hands it to Saligo through the broadcast wing. Michael Lanny. Kick was a little wayward. Bounces its way to Brock. Wrapped up by Thilthorpe. Got it to Edwards. And the Eagles escape late in the third term. A miserable finish, though, to that quarter as they concede 5 unanswered goals. 6 of the last 7 and 8-1 in that term. West Coast's goodwill of the first half completely unravelled, and the Crows eyeing off another massive victory over Wailach Murrowa. They've had an average margin of 88 points in their last 3 meetings, including a 122 points shellacking a couple of years ago and a 99-point win in their last meeting. So it could be heading in that direction if the trend does continue. There is another game starting shortly if you want an alternative. Naarm and Sydney, the D's, and the Swans at the MCG. You can hear it on the ABC Listen app. It has just started, so you can catch that through the AFL button.
Why would you?
Well, if you're a Crow supporter, why would you? Because you're having the best day of your life. Otherwise, if you're an Eagles person, you need some relief. I can totally understand. It is great to have you with us, though, across this afternoon on ABC Radio, Sport Digital, and the ABC Listen app. The final quarter coming up next. It's Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Get your footy fix live and ad-free with the ABC Listen app. Whatever footy you're after, we've got you covered. Called by ABC Sports expert commentary team. ABC Sports coverage of the footy on the ABC Listen app. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Here's a chance for Rankin. He was taken high. The umpire given the free kick. didn't quite have the ball in possession. He was swung around. He's going to have it out now. 15 out directly in front to get Gowanna back to where they were. He's gone with the little bow and arrow as well, the Xavier Dersma. The kick goes up. Oh, Brockman rises high and takes a nice grab over the top of Saligo.
Gee, I like him as a player, isn't he?
Out towards the skipper in Dawson. He's got plenty of room and he's got Pedler on his own in the square. The kick is outstanding and Pedler jumps up and makes it look a little more spectacular and takes the mark in the square. Well, Luke Pedler in the side for the first time since round 8 last year, and he puts through his second goal. Crucial miss from Liam Ryan. Adelaide turn it around quickly and the lead's back out to 28 points.
Reid, high inside 50. It's carrying to the goal square. What a mark! Oscar Allen stuck both arms into the air, almost closed his eyes and just hoped it would land there. And she's got glue on his mitts because that is stuck. Allen with a couple of steps, stabs at it. Wasn't pretty, but finishes. And the Eagles get one back.
Rochelle couldn't take it and Neil Bullen picks it up. You can hear the crowd response. Outside of the right foot, he puts it through the former Demon. Dawson, they can't stick a tackle. And it takes the captain to stop the run. And he slots it through from 50. Jordan Dawson gives it to Rochelle. Adelaide needs something here. And Josh Rochelle on the right, after a number of errors, able to put it through.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
Getting ugly here at the Adelaide Oval. The Crows with a 7-goal-to-1 term, up by 57 points over the Eagles as they look to bounce back from a loss to Collingwood. And Warwick Marawa's excellent effort against the Saints, replicated for a half here, but they're starting to fade away, the young side. Still to come, we've got Euroke and Gold Coast at the Docklands, the Saints and the Suns, and the D's and the Swans has just gotten underway at the MCG. Well, it's just about to in a minute's time, so you can hear that on the ABC Listen app. Aaron Bryans and Mark Soderstrom with you alongside Premiership Crow Rod Jamieson and 4-time showdown medalist Josh Franco. The 5th member of our commentary team, Liz Walsh, has just got in touch and says there is some concern with Jordan Dawson. Had to come off due to a left ankle issue, which appears to be his heel. Had to be restrapped, wrapped up, plenty of rubbing given, and now he's made his way out to the midfield group. So maybe just keep an eye out on that left boot of Jordan Dawson, who's had a tremendous afternoon. 21 touches, 17 of those kicks, as you mentioned, Jamo. So
9 inside 50s.
I wouldn't be surprised if you find him at full forward in this final term, because he does like to float there. And if he's got anything wrong with him when you're up by nearly 10 goals, you'd probably want to play it safe. Jamo, Josh, what was the catalyst there for Adelaide totally rolling over the Eagles in that third term?
Well, I think in the end, we spoke about it at half-time. West Coast had been honourable in the way that they'd approached the game. They were pretty good in the clearance and stoppage situation, but through weight of numbers and Adelaide's ability through O'Brien and Thilthorpe able to get their hands and give their mids the first look every time the ball was either thrown up or bounced at centre bounce, they started to look dangerous. They then dominated field position, and then the damn ball started to break. Just through weight of numbers, West Coast's inability to move the ball out of their D50. And I think what also hurt West Coast is even early in that third quarter, when the margin was only 16 or 17 points, they had 2 or 3 shots on goal that they missed. And if you're a side, as I said, if you haven't won here in 8, of the last appearances at Adelaide Oval, everything needs to go your way, and it didn't. They weren't able to capitalise, and as a result, Adelaide were able to flex their muscles and get on with the job. And I think the challenge now for West Coast Eagles is they've got to hang in there. They've done a lot of good work over the last 2 or 3 weeks to, I guess, get the football pundits' eyebrows raising a little bit, but they can't go back to what they were when we saw them in round 5 at Gather Round, where they were pretty ordinary.
I'm not sure what the message would be. I guess from a coach, if you're Adelaide, you say, look, keep your foot down, let's keep going forward, or whether we actually try and do a few things that we're trying to implement this year that may be just a small tinker. I think to your point, Josh, I think West Coast centering might be going, right, it's almost man on man, tackle hard, it's energy, it's effort.
Yep.
I don't even care if we score, but we're not going to blow this game out to more than the 10-goal margin it is right now.
Gowanna by 57 points. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Final term underway as O'Brien taps it down. Draper fumbled, but the ruckman toes it forward. Clean take from Keys, who hands it to Draper. Full stride, 45 out, gets the backspin in the goal square. It was heading straight and home. Sits up and Edwards can gather for the Eagles. Kicks a little dangerous low across the scoreboard. Brockman did well under pressure to get it to Hunt. Whilst Murrowa out to the eastern side. It's a high looping ball. Carries past both Keane and Allen. Picked up at the back. And a tackle laid on Laird to hold things up. Holding the ball. Free kick to the Eagles.
I reckon Draper would like his time again with that shot on goal. Went all of probably 25 metres.
I'd love my little pitching wedge to be able to stop like that.
It's dynamic by Draper at the centre of the ground, who's come on as a sub. Oscar Allen's kick up forward, and as Flynn tried to work his way through, O'Brien ends up with the ball. I'll throw it up here. 60 out from the Wallich-Mara goal. O'Brien reaches out over the top, and then Laird runs past it. Here's a chance for Harley Reid. Fires out a little handball to Brockman, straightens up on his right foot towards the goal, puts it straight across the face. Good start for the Eagles going forward. Margin 56 points to Gowanna. Wallich-Mara at 6-10-46. Adelaide 15-12-102.
Sam Berry, great for or three quarters. Millera, Saligo and Rochelle all on the bench for Adelaide.
Keen to the broadcast wing, and Baker beats Fogarty in a one-on-one. Takes the intercept mark. Wide of the logo and looks to switch up to half forward. There isn't a crow in sight as Flynn marks, but decides to slowly skirt back towards the centre square. And now a short pass to Duggan at left half forward. Just navigating their way inside 50, the Eagles. Duggan finally pulls the trigger. Bangs it to the top of the goal square. Waterman was there. Juggled and took it as he hit the deck. Fingertips on the footy to bring it down, and it collapsed on his chest as he hit the deck. Waterman straight in front. Will have a set shot on goal.
Well, Gemma, I can't remember the West Coast Eagles taking a mark like that inside their forward 50. It was a slow play, numbers back for Adelaide to help their back six, but Waterman, in the end, as you said, it was almost an uncontested mark deep inside their forward 50. But it has been too few and far between for the Eagles in terms of their ability to cash in on their inside 50s.
Jake Waterman straight in front. Hop, skip, stabs and kicks his third. The crowd stunned in silence. There's a couple of Eagles at the northern end. Not much fanfare for the big man, but he's got three at the Adelaide Oval, and the margin's down to 50 points. Adelaide 15-12-102, West Coast 7-10-52. Should mention as well, Sid Draper activated as the sub wasn't for Jordan Dawson. Both subs were tactical in the third term, so Taylor out and Draper in, and for the Eagles, Gross out and Dewar in. So Jordan Dawson is playing at the moment despite that heel injury.
Marks overall 71-45, so just uncontested. Adelaide leading in that way. Surprisingly, it's 8 marks apiece inside 50, but I think you're right, Josh. It's not deep forward where they've been able to sort of inside 30 to have a genuine shot on goal. There hasn't been too many.
Gowanna lead by 50 points. Waterman 17 goals for the year, going off the 53 that he had last year. Reid, centre of the ground, rolled over in a tackle by Riley O'Brien, and he's been pinged. So the second effort of the big man that Aaron Bryan's talking about, he wants to see some money. Working on a contract at the moment. Good little kick releases. Laird on the outer side. He goes forward. Fogarty in the front position. Strong hands. He had a quiet first half, and we thought, what's going to happen in this second? Can he break out? And he's done it right now.
Fogarty said, whatever you can do, I can do better. Great contested mark there for Fogarty. He had a couple of mares in that third quarter where he dropped, I think it was a kick from Rankin, and then had a pretty ordinary set shot for goal, but has been well held. Needs to go back, even for his confidence, and kick the goal.
Well, Darcy Fogarty was good last week, kicked 4 of the 10 goals for the Crows, and he needs this one now just for a little bit of a confidence booster, and he gets it. So the lead now out to 56 points. Keeping in mind, I think the average margin has been a 63-point win over their past 5 games against Wallich-Mara. Gowanna 16-12-108. West Coast 7-10-52. And we are 4 minutes gone here in the final term Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
I think Matthew Nix would be thrilled, obviously, with the way Adelaide have played. You're always trying to get better, but 56 points early in the last, but to have 11 goal scorers to this particular point of the game as well, the spread in which they've been able to go to goal, he'd be super impressed with that.
I reckon the other thing as well, when was Draper activated? Was that early in the third?
Yeah, well, it wasn't
tactical.
Too late.
I reckon that's a great great idea from their coaching staff just to expose him and get him in the midfield to build up his mid-minutes, because he's a very important player moving forward for Adelaide.
Goona up 56 once again. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. O'Brien down, towed out of there by Hewitt. On the bounce, Ryan fumbled, coming through Graham, shoots it wide, Brockman's on the run, kick was too heavy, had so much pace and the momentum went into his right slipper. Butts could have let it roll out, kept it in, turned into the tackle of Waterman, too high. Free kick to Adelaide, left back pocket. Kicking to the left-hand side of your radio dial. Butts shares it to Saligo at left half back. Over at the G, the Demons on the board first against the Swans through Max Gawn. They lead 1 straight 6. Sydney yet to score. You can hear it on the ABC Listen app through the AFL button. Saligo backtracks to Hinge, staring into the sun. Sends it long to centre wing on the broadcast side. Fogarty there, big fist from Brock. He'd be frustrated. Been so good all afternoon, and finally Darcy gets on the scoreboard and knocks it over the boundary line.
Just thinking about the big scores. I remember I was a young kid, I did the scoreboard, and the A grade, they kicked 55-25 to no score. But remember the old... Oh, it was so busy, Soda.
Where was that at? Which ground?
Morford Vale.
Beautiful. Good on you, Jammo. You would have earned your choppy milk that day.
$20 for 2 games.
Nicely done. Picked up by Hutchison. He goes into 50, and Mark couldn't be taken. It was well read there by Butts, but he just fell short. Just on Sandy Brock, when you make your debut and you get 8 goals against you, you would think that you would be absolutely deflated. For him to come back the way he has been pretty remarkable for the nephew of Peter Brock.
I'd go to the coach and say, can I go forward?
He's done well, but he has conceded to Fogarty, as you heard from Aaron Bryan's first time in a month. Here's a chance now for Long. He got the handball out from Williams and just hung it out to the right. Didn't come back. So behind there for Wallich Marawa.
While we're on big margins, Jamo and I were out for SA Grandstand at Walkerville Footy Club yesterday. Big shout out to them. Exiting kick from the Crows. Fogarty rises over the top of Hutchinson and takes the mark at left half back. That we were there because their B grade had Heath Shaw playing for them, and this side had already won 38-1 in its last 2 games. How do you think yesterday went, Jamo?
In the B grade?
In the B grade with Heath Shaw in that already winning side.
I only saw the first 5 minutes. No, you go.
They won by 95 points, 113 to 18. Eagles have it at centre wing on the broadcast side as Adelaide tried to move it forward. Picked off. Down the line, the kick from Cole.
Well, we need
Williams.
to tell the story of the C grade when we get a minute as well.
We do. Bailey Williams at right half forward for Wallich Marawa. Spots an option, tight in the pocket. Waterman presents. Fist came in late from Butts. Picked up by Hutchinson. He's tight. Beautiful underground handball past Berry. Absolute footy smarts. Got it to Graham, who just walked the wrong side of the paint. His kick was perfect to Ryan, but instead we'll get a boundary throw-in.
6 players just chose not to turn up yesterday, Josh, for the C grade. So there was a number of players that were over 40. There was a guy on the boundary who was 59. And then 6 of them had to go up and play in the B grade.
Against Heath Shaw.
You should have put your hand up, Joe.
I was not. I was handcuffed myself to the grandstand.
Marrick's kick was cut forward and Berry sees it out over the line. Jamo, I reckon you'd still be in good nick too. You're a powerhouse when you played too. Big barrel chest.
Maybe they're just someone's done it. No, he's done a shoulder, has he, or an elbow?
I think it's a shoulder. Doesn't look good.
It's elbow, shoulder, yeah. Jake Waterman, it's right out.
You can see that right shoulder is out, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's got his left shoulder heavily strapped and his right elbow heavily strapped.
Waterman in a lot of pain, and it's been a rough season for him. He missed rounds 2 to 4 with multiple injuries, calf and back, and now that shoulder is so far out it's hanging across his body.
That's that. Maybe Worrell coming across the top in the contest has got him on the back of his right shoulder.
Needs to do the Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon just to smack that back in.
Well, he's going straight
that
off.
Looks nasty.
Not through the interchange, so that'll be the end of his day.
Brutal afternoon for the Eagles. The pain just gets piled on as they lose their talisman.
Yeah, that was... you just cringed when Mel Gibson did that, didn't you?
He won some money, though, doing that.
He did.
Getting the arm out of the straitjacket. As the ball's thrown in. Oscar Allen doing the rut work. Tries to pinch it. The handball comes out to Miller. He goes up to centre half back into the corridor mark taken by Brock. So he's up at half forward now. Has never kicked the goal, Sandy. This is going to be too far for him, so he just pops it up. Left footer right in front of goal. Dangerous spot for the defence here of Adelaide, and it goes out of bounds. Williams sees it, so he'll have a throw in.
They don't need too many more injuries, West Coast. Cripps out, 4 weeks remaining. McGovern, concussion. Petruccelli, his shoulder. Sheed, knee for the season. Elliot Yeo still 6 to 7 weeks away, and Matt Owies 4 weeks away.
And Geelong to come next Sunday. Tossed in, O'Brien tried to take it out of the ruck. Got it to Berry. Strong tackle. It was heavy and hard, and holding the ball. Free kick to Tyler Brockman. Smelt blood and pounced. This will make him work, though. Something special on basically a straight line angle in the left forward pocket, 5 out.
I'm just looking at the replay. I know they talk about prior opportunity. I'm not sure Berry did on that occasion. Pretty hot call there from the umpire.
Brockman opens the angle, snaps, curls and misses. Minor score. Would have been a magnificent finish. Wallich Marawa trail by 54 points in this final term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Worrell drops it into Hinge. He in turn to Miller. He's played every game this year. Great to see him back fit and firing. He was rewarded with a 3-year deal this week. Kick in front of the broadcast area. Oh, good stretch by Curtin. Just floated across, put the left mid up, and the ball fell into the chest nicely. Riley O'Brien is going to take a break. And Curtin's kick is good. Gives it to Saligo. To Dawson, who's back on with a little left footer, and he coughs it up. Chance for the Eagles to come out of defence.
Straight up the corridor to Ryan, knocked it towards Graham, handball to Cole, now across to Hunt. This is a good surge. Wallich Murrow inside 50, one-on-one. The battle with Allen and Keane. Ball hits the deck, chasing into the pocket. Keane dives forward, couldn't knock it out. Allen tries to keep it in, and Late Miller comes across with the assist to force him over. It was 95% perfect from the Eagles and just couldn't get the cherry.
Yep. Just Mitch Hinge, Liam Ryan, both slow to get up as they make their way forward or into the West Coast forward line. They're just lying down through that passage of play on Adelaide's half forward.
Tossed in, southern end. Williams wins it down. Reid bounced off Curtin. Freed up Williams together. Snap and gets the most awful and unkind of bounces. It was going to go straight through the big sticks. And it's done a full off-spinner through the right-hand side. The opposite of what you want in the Monfries-esque bounce. And Adelaide's leads down to 53.
Worrell's kick in, intercepted by Cole, and he runs himself in and out of trouble. Little handball back to Baker. High ball, Hewitt in front position, couldn't take it. Coming through Michael Annie. Brockman was good with a handball, gives it to Hunt. 40 out, a high ball into a vacant square. The bounce is coming straight up. Long had 3 to deal with.
Oh, that's gone, eh?
Looked like it'd gone through for a point, but the umpire said, no, you can play on. Kick from Adelaide. Comes out to Worrell in the defensive 50, and Keys has it. Just slams it onto his left foot. Goes forward up the half-back. Pedler takes it, gives it to Saligo. His kick is a good one. He's got Fogarty in front of Ginby. Fogarty quick, puts it out. Rankin has the chance. Handball over the top. Rochelli in the square. He goes bang. Rochelli puts it through, and he's got 4.
Well, I tell you what, you talk about individual or side's ability to read what's happening. Just watching Rochelli, who was in the centre of the ground, pinned his ears back. He saw that there was speed on the ball. Adelaide had clear possession and just streamed forward. Worked really hard. And then, as we said, it was an easy shot from the goal square, but the work was done earlier through Rochelli. Just, as I said, putting the hammer down and streaming towards goal. Well played, Adelaide.
West Coast had done all the work, hadn't they? They'd really kept it in their forward half. 14 and a half minutes into this last quarter. Contested 18-9 West Coast way. Ground ball gets 14-4. Inside 50s 10-4 in this quarter. And just one opportunity out the other way. Too easy for Adelaide.
Yep. Football was a bit of a loaded die there. It just kept backspinning on the behind line every single bounce.
Did that go through? Did that replay show that?
They would know, and they haven't pulled it back. Out of the middle, Oscar Allen in the ruck. Toes it up to half forward. Ryan couldn't gather. Picked up by Cumming. Sharked. Handball pickpocketed by Kelly, but he gives it straight back. Dawson for Guina. Out towards Berry. Paddled it on. Peatling on the charge. Did the same as he taps it off to Cumming. Marching through the broadcast wing. Coming up to half forward. Kick didn't favour Rankin at all. Late to the contest. Hoff flew. And Cumming couldn't rise to meet him. Rankin rather couldn't rise to meet him. So Brady Hoff has the footy right half back.
Aaron ate something bigger than his head yesterday too at Walkerville Oval.
Bacon and 2-egg sandwich.
It was a monster roll.
Down the line goes Hoff, and a fist comes in to knock it over the boundary line. That's why I like going around to local footy clubs, Jamo, because everywhere we go, the cafeteria has something different on the menu.
It's a good little club rooms actually too. I had a steak sandwich, 2 soda. That was all right.
Yeah, you got to fill yourself up, Jamo. Like we said, those biceps don't grow themselves. You were like Riley Thilthorpe before Riley Thilthorpe when you're at the Crows there. And speaking of the man, he taps it down and goes straight through the legs of Cumming. Picked up by Berry. He shoots it forward. Oh, Fogarty in a good position. Couldn't take it against Ginby. Picked up by Cole. Gives it to Duggan. Little wobble. Just goes over the head of Keys. Now here's a chance now for Brockman. Runs away from Benny Keys. Has a couple of bounces and kicks it to Ryan. He's committed, goes past, runs in, and a little kick by Ryan. It wasn't a good one. He was trying to give it to Kelly. He hangs the ball out on his right foot. Dewar is there as well. The handball comes out to Hewitt, and he just tries to wobble one forward. It's not pretty. As Oscar Allen takes it out over the line. Now, that was troublesome, trying to get it down that way.
Well, Aaron, that's just another example of what you said previously. They're doing a lot right, but they just can't finish off their work. I think it was Liam Ryan there that did all the hard work, led up at the footy, took an uncontested mark, but just couldn't finish his work inside 50. That was a shot on goal gone begging there, just through lack of polish.
Nothing graceful about their forward 50 craft. Tossed in. Beats both rucks at the back. Hutchinson threw it on the boot. Jammed it a good 10 metres, and waiting in the goal square was Worrell. He's kicked just the required 15. Right back pocket to Laird. 39,271 in attendance. Was looking a little quiet early, but they've lifted through the afternoon. And the conditions have been glorious given the radar and what's set to come here in Adelaide.
Look at that. 5 kicks within 50 metres, Adelaide, and West Coast haven't been able to shut it down. Kick number 6.
Worrell to Laird, to Berry, to Michael Lanny and Neil Bullen. Through the eastern side they go. Curtin in front position. Fist came in late from Cole. Front and square was Keys. Put on the Jets. Hands it to Draper. Tried the don't argue but couldn't get away from Hutchinson. Handballs it forward to Fogarty. Tight in the pocket. Rochelle rolls a worm burner. Hunt out to meet it from the defensive goal square. Sold Edwards into immediate danger. He got tripped off the falling Keys and then fell forward into a head clash with Saligo. And Edwards is going to get the free kick. He'll pop up in defensive 50, but that was an unkind handball from his teammate. Wilditch Murrow look for the exit. They're down 59, and it's going to come straight back because that is an ugly kick from Liam Duggan, the absolute definition of a clanger.
I think he tried to do a banana or hit the check side type kick, but hit the fat side of the ball and went the other way.
He did hit the wrong side of it, put it right out of bounds. So here's a chance for Cumming to bring it in and go forward. The target was Fogarty, couldn't take it. Rochelle as well. He's been effervescent up there today, Rochelle, with his 4 goals. Fogarty started slow, but he's come into it, and we saw Thilthorpe early on look really damaging. And the crowd, you can hear getting excited because Big Tex Walker has come up on the scoreboard there. He's sitting in there watching on. Kicked 19 goals in 2 games against
West
Coast.
Walsh or
23.
Just sitting there doing nothing?
Here's a chance for Harley Reid. Takes it out. And
that's poor for you, Jamo. That's poor.
We love her.
Poor Liz has had some technical difficulties down there, but she's reporting beautifully with the text messages back. She said the day is outstanding.
Speaking of, pickle juice to Josh Rochelle, and no sign of Waterman. He's still in the rooms with that badly popped shoulder.
Maybe we can get her to actually try the pickle juice.
Give a little taste test.
Yeah.
Here's a chance now for Saligo from the throw-in. Handball to Berry was a little too hot. Coming through. Oh, and thrown down in a tackle, and the umpire again.
Oh, that was holding the ball every day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Tried to fend off the tackler, Berry, and got lucky on that occasion.
It was a good tackle by Brockman.
He's a good pickup.
Guina by 59. O'Brien down, just missed Draper, picked up by Kelly, hands it off to Reid, arches the back and goes for a run. This is the Harley we've been hoping for, across to Noah Long, into the 50, places it well to Oscar Allen. That was a nice surge out of the stoppage for Walich Murrowa, and Allen's tight in the pocket, 25 from home.
Just so much easier too, wasn't it, as well? Assessed it quickly, didn't draw the player too much, enough time to throw the handball over the top, but great kick, Noah Long in between two defenders.
When he bursts out of a ruck contest, Harley Reid, he looks so good and game-breaking. Just haven't seen a lot of it this afternoon.
Well, he's had 16 disposals, Aaron, 6 kicks, 10 handballs. He's running at 67% kicking efficiency. Probably not enough output, as you said.
Allen starts inside the arc. Kick is right. It's swinging back over the goal umpire's hat. Oscar Allen has 2. And the deficit down to 53 once again. Guana 17-12, 114. Walich Murrowa 8-13, 61. Did give a shout out to Graham Johncock and the Crows Indigenous Guernsey earlier, so only fair we do the same for West Coast as well. So Wangutha man Kevin Wilson and Matawonga and Noongar woman Taryn Woods designed it. It's got 56 sharp points, which represent all the First Nations players the club has drafted. It's got a kangaroo and emu that symbolise the players moving forward. There are 6 large circles that represent their connection to country as well, and there's some rivers and waterways as well as part of their connection to the continent. But beautiful Guernsey, as is the Crows, really. We've seen some crackers across this round, Jamo.
Oh, Gavin Wanganeen, I think, did Port Adelaide.
Quite an artist now, Gavin Wanganeen. Has his paintings for sale, cost a pretty penny too. Very, very talented individual. The Brownlow medalist, as the ball goes up, Harley Reid out of the ruck, takes it. Riley O'Brien, who's been very, very good with his second efforts, the big man, gets the free kick. Gives it to Dawson, just hammers a handball. Butts has it in front of the interchange gates. Little one over the top. Hinge gets around onto his left, goes long into the Phil Thorpe direction. Couldn't take it. Rankin with a tackle on Hoff. He's riding him like a Bronco bull.
Jam, I reckon that was an example of the Harley Reid scenario you're talking about. Just had to get it on his boot rather than trying to fend off and take the tackler on and inviting the pressure. Just had to get the ball going forward, but didn't.
Toss. Thilthorpe down. Rankin in a phone box, found some space, hooks it towards goal, fell short. Rochelle now against 2. Jimby pressuring. Marrick comes in, but just couldn't pick it up. Head over the footy for what felt like an entire month. Knocked away from him and over the boundary line. It'll be tossed in front of the scoreboard.
One thing I will say, though, looking at the numbers in this last quarter, to credit West Coast, they've actually hung in there. Contested ball inside 50s, 13-6 clearances, they're winning. So at least they've hung in there and haven't thrown the white towel in.
Tossed in, 25 out, missed both rucks out the back. Long didn't want to go for goal. Turned and handed it to Kelly and he's wrapped up. Cumming got him. Ball ricochets out towards Hunt at half forward. He's brought to ground by Phil Thorpe. Ball up to come. Noah Long had a chance there but didn't really want to go himself. Margins 53, Adelaide up in this final term.
The tackling technique of both sides now, isn't it, too? Just the ability to be able to shut them down as opposed to sling them or drag them to the ground. Just unfortunate for the Eagles. They weren't able to keep the scoreboard manageable. Harley Reid down as well. What's he?
The umpire is going to give him a free kick to Reid. It's going against Rankin. And, well, West Coast have outscored Adelaide by 4 points in this last term, but things were really unmanageable in that third. Adelaide just poured on. Huge quarter, 7-1 after leading by 17 points at half-time. Long kick going back there, Mark. Taken by Laird. Just sends it out across goal to Miller. He in turn puts it out to Benny Keys, who's deep in defence. Out of side in the Adelaide Oval, the southern end. Just another little kick forward as they try and maintain possession. Hinge. He inches his way up, had too much on it, put Michael Annie under all sorts of pressure. Tries to set a handball out and Keys' tackle on Hoff ends the contest as well, so it'll be thrown up out of side, centre wing.
Guana by 53. Clock ticking away here as the Crows march towards their 7th victory of the campaign. Tap down, Reid there, tried to get a handball away but got an arm pinned late and just flung it out. Bit of words traded between he and Dawson as they get stuck into each other. Play will continue with the advantage up towards 50. Tumbling footy a little bit long for Rochelle, and Jimby's happy to let it go. Reid pops up off the deck and stays right next to Jordan Dawson.
Bit of Russian roulette by Josh Rochelle then. Jimby went left, he went right, and the ball rolled over the boundary line.
Oscar Allen's come in late and provided a far-away Shepherd to just free up that matchup. Tossed in, big clash. Keys and Kelly, car crash coming either way. Big bounce of bodies. Exiting kick from the Eagles. Comes straight towards Curtin, who marks it half forward. Kelly's worst for wear out of that collision. Back inside 50, Curtin's kick, off hands, out the back door, Rochelle rolls it through for a handful. Showtime Rochelle against the Eagles. And the perfect way to cap off an emphatic afternoon for Goonna. They're up 59 once again. 18-12, 120 to the Eagles, 8-13, 61. Still 4 to play. Sunday footy on ABC Sport, and over at the G, time on in the first term there. The Demons lead the Swans by 14.
And a shout out to Liz Walsh too. Tyrell Dewar, just in a contest as well, has injured his ankle and he's limped to the bench. So not only are they struggling to get a hold of the footy, they're going to run out of men too. If there's, we've got 4.5 minutes remaining.
Well, I'll tell you what, I reckon Rochelle owes the umpire a beer on that occasion. He put 2 hands in the back. I think it was Jimby. The umpire was in perfect position but missed it, landed in Rochelle's hands and kicked a goal.
5 goals straight.
Had a busy day, Ruben Jinby. He'd had to look after Rankin early, which would have been a headache, and he's now got Rochelle to deal with. And Rochelle's just parked himself in the goal square. His 5 goals have been quite spectacular. Pretty clever. Peatling on hands and knees in the centre of the ground. Comes back out to O'Brien. Another clearance for the big unit. Goes forward. Oh, looks like Riley Philthorpe's gone down and grabbed the right ankle. We'll keep an eye on him. Blindsided Rochelle. And running into an open goal. Opportunity missed there. But we saw Rochelle had that chance there. And ball goes through. 4 behind for Goonna. And 18-12, 120. West Coast 8-13, 61. 60-point advantage. 10 goals clean.
Philthorpe staying out but very proppy. The Eagles to the broadcast swing and barging through, brushing off a couple of tackles is Elijah Hewitt. Kick up to half forward, butts in front of Flynn, brought it down. Michael Lanny front and square, hands it to Draper, and Goonna quickly reset.
He's got some wheels, hasn't he, Draper?
The switch across half-back. Curtin to Berry, through the logo. Here's Philthorpe now, looking much better after that little tweak of the ankle. Up to right half forward, Rochelle, knocked away by Jinby. Picked up by Laird, back to Philthorpe. Rochelle tried the don't argue on Jimby and just got away from him late. Meanwhile, down behind plays another Eagles. Tom Cole, who's struggling to put any weight on his right leg. Adelaide share the footy around. Draper into the corridor. Worrell spots a target he likes. It's big Riley O'Brien.
He should have left that for Keys then.
Keys was on the march. O'Brien was backtracking, and his kick is miserable. Shallow to Philthorpe, running out of the goal square. The big man gets low, gave it towards Peatling, tackled, and a free kick against Baker, and it's on. Rankin comes in and dumps the former Tiger, and it takes numerous Eagles to rip him away. Peatling will be marched into the goal square and will comfortably put this through.
It's on, isn't it?
And it will not relent. It's a late, feisty affair here at the Adelaide Oval. Liam Baker and Isaac Rankin, the instigators. Saligo stuck in there as well with Liam Ryan. Ryan Marich had something to say to Dan Curtin. There'll be some fines being issued tomorrow. All the Crows care about is that they're up by 11 goals now in this final term. It's Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
He certainly has. Liam Baker has actually gone back after Peatling and pushed his head into the ground. And that's why Philthorpe's come over the top, and then Jack Graham's come over the top to him, and that's how it's all started. Might find that Baker might have a little holiday.
I think you might be right there, Gemma. That was unnecessary and not needed at this late stage in the game, and the game's done and dusted, but he slammed his head into the ground, didn't he, Baker?
Yeah, they're still giving plenty of curry down there. Rankin's at him, and also Berry's in there, and Pedler against him in the centre of the ground though. Ball thrown up. Williams doing the ruck work against O'Brien. Comes out to Hewitt. High ball going forward. Kelly did well, got Worrell out of the contest, but Worrell stood up, able to give it off to Laird. His kick out of side is good. Peatling, the goal kicker, has pulled his head out of the turf after that little interaction with Liam Baker, and he's got it at half back. Just decides to maintain possession. We tick over into the 30 minutes. The margin, 66 points. So they're 3 points ahead of their average winning margin against Wallich-Mara over the past 5 games. He's run too far though, Michael Annie, and the Eagles will have the ball in the centre of the ground.
Now Fogarty's pulled up short as well as he was running towards that contest, and he's just jogging his way through the eastern side. So there's some little concerns everywhere here as the Eagles quickly move it inside 50. Duggan's kick to Ryan. Battling with Worrell, flew up into the air off a standing start and takes the mark. So Cole and Dewar on the bench with some leg issues for the Eagles. Waterman's popped his shoulder, and Fogarty just cannot get into full stride as he tries to make his way to the bench. He's leaning almost on that left knee. Maybe jarred it. But
gee, would you think they'd get him off?
He wants to come off, and I reckon they're sending him back.
It's just a couple of minutes to go, or it's a minute and a half, so maybe they'll just leave him out there.
Meanwhile, Liam Ryan, the Yamaji man, crosses the paint of 50. Booming kick off a couple of steps, but misses just to the left. Margin 65, Adelaide lead by. Final minute here. Gee, both these clubs just want to get through unscathed from here because players are dropping all over the place.
Hasn't been bad today, Liam Ryan, but he's had return of 4 behinds and 1 out on the full.
Kick from Hinge. He was taken down just as he tried to get rid of it. Oscar Allen did a good job there. Worrell. It's going to come back to him. A little 1-2 via Michael Annie. And then Adelaide via Laird go up to the outer wing. Ginby gives it off. Baker getting involved. Long kick forward, and the mark's taken by Hinge. Did really well. Walking wounded. Jamo, reminds me of a game at the SCG many years ago when Mark Visca couldn't move and he sat in the goal square and he could not leave, and I think he ended up kicking a goal, didn't he, for you guys?
He did, and it was also, I think, Matty Robran was crook as well, and maybe Rodney Maynard. So we were down to, we couldn't make an interchange at all, and won the game.
Hinge to the eastern wing. Curtin takes a nice mark over the top of Marek. Now Draper on the logo. Up to right half forward. Dawson presents. Slipped through his hands. Head over the footy. Bone-crunching tackle laid by Berry. He was hot onto it. Brings poor Noah Long to the turf. We'll get a ball up just outside 50. O'Brien taps it down to Dawson, the vice-captain, to the skipper on the left. Misses to the right-hand side. That was a nice set play in the closing stages here at the Adelaide Oval. Dawson makes it a 66-point lead for the Crows.
11 inside 50s for Dawson and 2 goals 3. Just keeps
massive
up, doesn't he?
Yeah. Should let Josh call the rest of this game.
No.
Been enormous, Josh. And Dawson has 2. And there it is. It's a big win to Goonwanga. They did very well indeed in that second half. Able to pour it on. They get home by 66 points.
South Australia, and we're known as the Adelaide Crows. We're courageous, stronger, faster, and respected by our foes. Admiration of the nation, our determination shows. We're the pride of South Australia, we're the mighty Adelaide Crows.
So from elation to annihilation for the Eagles, their first win of the season, quickly eviscerated in a demolition by Goona. The Crows win 19-14-128 to the Eagles 8-14-62 in front of 39,271. Goona go to 7-4 in their season as they bounce back after a loss to the Pies, and Wallich-Mara 1-10. Their Adelaide Oval losing streak extends to 9 in a row, and another big loss on the road.
We're the pride of South Australia, we're the mighty Adelaide Crows. Yes, the pride of South Australia, we're the mighty Adelaide Crows.
It was a big afternoon for Josh Rochelle, who finishes with 5 goals, 2 to Peatling and Thilthorpe, Pedler and Dawson. Singles to Keys, Berry, Rankin, Neil Bullen, Fogarty and O'Brien. Meanwhile for Walich Marawa, 3 to Waterman, who has unfortunately popped his shoulder. 2 to Oscar Allen and singles to Reid, Brockman and Hoff. We'll get the song and some reaction in the rooms in a moment's time and then get you to the MCG for the Demons and the Swans, where it is currently quarter time and Nam leads Sydney 3-3-21 to the Swans 2-1-13. Big afternoon for some injuries as well. Sajua got back out there, thankfully, for the Eagles. As I mentioned, Waterman with that shoulder issue that looked near 90 degrees the way it popped. Cole came off late with an ankle concern. Fogarty looks to have a pretty significant corky, but played out the game. And Jordan Dawson with a heel issue as well finished the final term. We'll find out the latest with Liz Walsh down in the rooms in a moment's time. We haven't been able to hear from her officially throughout the afternoon, but it'll be good to see her down in the rooms in a moment's time. Rod Jamieson, Josh Franco, tale of two halves really. We got a cracking contest in the first half and then Adelaide steamrolled them in the second.
Well, we thought that was going to be the case. And in that third quarter, Adelaide just opened up the game enormously and West Coast couldn't hang on. And then ultimately, I guess injuries got to them. Only having one fit man on the bench in the last quarter, they just started to fall over. But I think ultimately it was just efficiency, wasn't it, too? 14 shots or 14 scoring shots in that third quarter to only 4. That's where the game really went from 17 points at halftime to 57 at three-quarter time. And we spoke about what West Coast might want to get out of that last quarter, Josh, and they were able to hang on there. The margin only went another 11 points, and but they were able to hold their ground majority of the time. But, geez, they've got some work to do, haven't they? And you touched on Jinby. Where wouldn't you want to be right now? And that would be in the defence of West Coast. They are just under enormous pressure with the amount of football the opposition have and drop inside their forward 50. 64 inside 50s for the game, Adelaide. 55 to West Coast.
Well, interesting. We're just looking at the scoring worm in front of me, and up until half-time, it's pretty flat. But as we know, and Adelaide started to pile on the pressure. They started to get field position through clearance dominance and then able to hit the scoreboard and blew the game right open. But I can't help but wonder if West Coast Eagles were able to somehow capitalise on their ability to get the ball inside 50, particularly in that second quarter when the inside 50s at one stage, I think, were 10-2. They just weren't able to hit the scoreboard with majors. They weren't able to apply any real scoreboard pressure. And the second half probably played out the way we thought it would. With Adelaide coming out after half-time, they flexed their muscles and they really just ran away with the game. One thing I will say, probably two things. I think there's plenty of positives to take away from the West Coast Eagles, considering to how they were travelling earlier in the season. But also, secondly, I think the last quarter they were able to hang in there. I know the sting had gone out of the game and the game was done and dusted at three-quarter time. But to their credit, they could have thrown the towel in. They didn't. And were able to hang in there on the scoreboard in terms of the margin. It didn't blow out to anything which were beyond three-quarter time. So I guess credit to them from that perspective. But as you said, Jamo, they've still got plenty of work to do to be considered relevant in this competition.
Well, 3 areas of the game. The contest, that's where Adelaide won. The ground ball gets. In the end, they were able to win that area. Clearance is also 2 by 10 in terms of the margin. You look at offence, and then they just blew the opposition away. Just the amount of goals, like 19 goals. Well, they must have kicked that, well, I'm going to say like 5 times, 6 times this year. The really big scores that they've been able to do. And then the defence as well, just really miserly to be able to restrict West Coast to 8. Game they possibly could have kicked a bit more. They weren't as efficient in front of goal, but just the way they put themselves in, they use the footy, they maintain possession, they go wide, and then the speed in which they go from defence to forward. I think it was a pretty impressive day by Adelaide.
Third biggest score of the season, 6th time they've raised the bat as well. It was always going to be a tough task when you're facing a side that's in the bottom 4, bottom 2. But did we learn anything about Adelaide this afternoon? Because ultimately they're tested when they play other finals contenders, and they've fallen short in the last 3 times they've done that. So this afternoon was just about getting the 4 points, Jammer, but was there anything else that we can take away from this matchup?
Well, I reckon Sam Berry's game today, that's as good as I've seen him play. So to give him the game time in the middle of the ground and the way he executed, won the footy, and also impacted on the scoreboard, kicking one in the third quarter. Thought Josh Rochelle, quiet in the first quarter and a bit, second quarter also. Isaac Rankin, in such a big round, Sir Doug Nicholls round, the Indigenous players want to step up, and look, when he had his opportunity, he did. I thought Saligo was okay again today for someone that's been really prominent in the first part of this year. Fogarty too, didn't have a good day, but just kept working at it.
Gemma, do you reckon that the umpires have a look at the stat sheet before they give their Brownlow medal votes, Josh?
Well, they say they don't.
I don't think they're allowed to, are they?
They're not allowed to, no.
Well, I don't know if they do, but Jordan Dawson, have a look at these numbers. They're remarkable. 27 touches, 17 contested, 9 tackles, 8 clearances, 11 inside 50s, 2 goals, 3. And I think he's sitting 4th on the coaches' votes. He's going to get 10 votes today, you would think.
Yeah, and I actually wasn't quite sure, Josh, you want to do the votes for myself, but I thought just in prep, I thought, Sam Berry, I might give him 3, and then you look into the real detail and you go, Dawson, my God, how many...
Probably the only blemish for Dawson is he was running at 45% kicking efficiency, which is probably something that you don't see, or it escapes me, because he does, and when he hits kicks inside 50, I think the one to Pedler in that third quarter, I think it was, he does use the ball normally very well, but running at 45% efficiency today.
And 2 goal 3, 11 inside 50s.
Yeah.
Well, I think for me, Adelaide, you're just looking about, yes, we could have done some things better. I reckon there was really the execution inside their forward 50. There's probably 4 occasions where they missed such a simple kick, which is what they pride themselves on being able to hit to give themselves opportunity in front of goal. So they could have kicked more than 20 today for sure. They didn't even register with those 3 or 4 kicks that missed the body. So, look, talking to Josh Carr yesterday, again, I don't know if you picked up on it, and we've spoken about this in the early part of the season. It doesn't matter who you play. West Coast are down the bottom, but you bank your wins. And he said yesterday, you just take them any which way you can. It doesn't matter who the opposition is, so you just continue to do what you need to do, and you just got to win a game regardless of the opposition. It just happens to be Adelaide wins and wins really well.
You take it with a 66-point margin as well as a percentage boost.
The only one thing, and as I said, I'm really bullish about Adelaide. I think up front they're the best in the competition. Down back they're really solid. The only little question mark is their midfield depth, and can they get it done against the better midfields in the competition? But from what I've seen from Adelaide, they've job done, tick the box, move on.
Can I ask the question then? Who would... No, I won't. I'll ask it later.
Save it, have a think about it, and we'll ask it in a moment's time, because the Crows are heading down the race, which means for the first time this afternoon, we can hear from the amazing Liz Walsh. Welcome, Liz.
Oh, hello, everybody. You must be so happy to hear this voice. Hello, I'm saying hello to Sarah Reid at the moment too, the best photographer in AFL. And here they come, the victorious Goonah team being led off Adelaide Oval by Isaac Rankin and Wayne Miller. Riley Philthorpe not far behind. Here comes Isaac coming. There's a bit of a muted sort of feel down here in the rooms at the moment. Perhaps people sort of thinking, well, they did beat number 18, but like you said, you bank the wins when you can. So they're all just getting together now into the circle. There's a few kids joining us as well. Here comes Taylor Walker. He's been obviously rested today, but has been spending the time in the coach's box. Standing right behind Ben Keys. He is the last player in. No, that is not true. Isaac Rankin is the last player in. Here he is. And here they go singing the song.
And the swag. Australia, we're the mighty Adelaide Crofts. Greater, stronger, faster, and respected by our foes.
George.
Adoration of the nation, and determination to pride of South Australia, we're the mighty Adelaide Crofts. Yeah!
Well, did you hear that? I had the microphone right next to Ben Keys and he was changing the Adelaide Crows to the Adelaide Crafts there. I'm not sure whether you could hear that, but a happy Adelaide Rooms down here, and we'll be with a player interview very soon.
I wonder if they're going to sink a few crafts later tonight, the Adelaide boys, after that victory. 66-point winners over Walich Marawa Goonah. They move to 7-4, and the Eagles 1-10 will get you to the MCG very shortly after we hear from a player in the rooms. Demons lead by 9 over the Swans there. If you want to hear it straight away, jump on the ABC Listen app and hit the AFL button. What was your question, Jamo? You've forgotten it, haven't you?
Yes, I was looking at something else.
Oh, no. Well, maybe votes then.
What was it? What were we talking about?
I don't even remember either.
Was it about the Adelaide midfield?
Yes.
Yes. You just questioned the depth of it, they've played some quality teams. Like, is there an opposition team that you feel that needs to test them to answer the question you're asking about? Can they make it?
As I said, I'm a massive fan of Adelaide. I guess I reflect back on the showdown and I think Port Adelaide's strength is their midfield group, and they almost didn't get. I know they did. I know they got the 4 points, but that's the only question. And it's not a big question. Don't get me wrong. It's not doubting their ability through the midfield. That's why I was really pleased that they pulled the sub early and got Draper in the middle of the ground to play that second half to give him more exposure in the midfield, because I think he's going to be an absolute star of the future.
Let's get some reaction downstairs with Liz Walsh.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Aaron. Can you hear me? I'm actually just still trying to connect Wayne Miller, but we do have Wayne right here. Wayne, congratulations on an amazing win today. What do you think really worked for your side?
Yeah, I thought, it was a bit of a tough battle, but I thought we was able to stay in the contest. They definitely brought it the first half. But yeah, we really stuck into the contest and the fight and sort of grinded it out, and it sort of opened up and was able to, play off that. I thought it was a pretty good, even contribution from everyone. We had 11 different goal scorers, which was pretty pleasing to see. So everyone playing a role, and it was a good game.
Interesting that you mentioned the forward line, because obviously Taylor Walker was being rested today. Do you think it took the forward line a little bit of time to adjust today?
No, I don't think that. I think it was probably a bit of our ball movement off of that. I thought at times we just try to go a bit short at times instead of getting it in deep to our big keys and giving them a chance. So we probably hurt ourselves in that sense early, and then once we was able to correct that, I think we really challenged the West Coast defence.
And the fact that that was your highest score that you've kicked since round 2 this year, that must be a really pleasing thing too, considering how important percentage becomes. Yeah,
definitely. It's always good to score a big score, but we also do have a pretty good focus on the opposition score against. So that was pleasing to see. I think it was under 65, which was a bit of a target for us. So that was nice to see that we got that under there.
You were only 17 points up at half-time, and then by the end of the third quarter you were 57 points up. What was the message at half-time from the coaching group that sort of elicited that response?
Yeah, a bit like I just said. It was that stay in the fight. We know that they've been in games till half-time for majority of the year, and even leading some. So we knew they were going to bring it, and it was going to be a bit of an arm wrestle, but like I said before, if we correct some of that stuff about, getting the ball into our tools and giving them a chance and then bringing it to ground and letting our smalls go to work, we thought we'd done that well in the second half.
And talk us through the importance of also the win on Sir Doug Nicholls' round at home in front of 39,000 people.
Yeah, it is definitely an important win any time, but yeah, it's definitely a special one. We've got a lot of it's myself and Isaac, a lot of family here coming to watch, but then we have a lot of past players and stuff that are here as well. So it's good to the club recognising them, and they paved the way for us. So, and now hopefully myself and Isaac and players like that across the league are paving the way for the next generation of young Indigenous players.
Speaking of the next generation, you've got your son holding onto your arm there, wanting you to get away. But I'll just ask you one more question. Obviously, you're on the road to Sydney next week. What do you take out of today's win that you send to the SCG?
As any game, it's probably that contest, bring the contest. We know Sydney are a very good contest team, so bringing the fight in that and then letting our footy play off that. So that's probably one thing, but we'll look at this probably tomorrow and then move on pretty quick, because I think it's a 6-day break, so we'll get into it.
Wayne Miller, thank you very much for joining ABC Sport.
Thank you very much.
Great to have Wayne with Liz Walsh downstairs after the Crows' 66-point win over the Eagles. 3-2-1 with Rod Jamieson.
Jordan Dawson, 3 votes, 610 metres gained, and had an amazing second half, particularly 11 inside 50s. I'm going to go Sam Berry with 2. I thought his game was as best he's played for Adelaide, just right across the board. And Josh Rosselli is another player that stepped up today. His contest was good. Kicked 5 goals. Special mention to Liam Duggan. 23 disposals, West Coast. 659 metres gained off the halfback line. But Adelaide, too good.
An emphatic second half where they kicked 11 goals to 3 after what felt like a pretty close game in the early stages. The Eagles were up for the fight early, but ultimately fell short. And Guinar winners 8-19-14, 128 to Wailach Morrowers 8-14-62 in front of 39,271. A reminder to close out the round, Euroke will host Gold Coast at the Docklands. That's the Saints and the Suns. You can hear it all from 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Which is now. So our coverage is underway if you want to hear the pre-game. The game hasn't got underway, but it is available to you on the ABC Listen app. It's been one of those days, Jamo. Speaking of what's underway, the D's and the Swans at the MCG, which we're about to take you to next. So Matt Clinch, Ben Cameron, Adam Ramanaskas and Bob Murphy out there at the G. Early lead to the Demons, so they're up by 10 points at the start of the second term. 5-5-35 to the Swans, 4-1-25. No late changes there. Goals so far in the contest. Laddams with 2 and singles to Sparrow, Pickett, Petrarca, Melksham, Heaney, Hamling and Gawn. A big thanks for your company. You're headed to the MCG on ABC Sport for the D's and the Swans.
To wrestle the footy away, but the clearance goes the way of Cosy Pickett. He takes a 1